Are we live? Check, check, Mike. 1, 2, 3. Welcome back. It's the Friday closure, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you all. Hope everything is working correctly. Let me make sure. Are we live? Yes. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode number 14 of the live day trading stream here. We will be analyzing, as always, our favorite instrument of all time, gold. Goldie. We're looking for the gold rush, but it's very indecisive once again. We're going to go deeper into this. The market needs to make a freaking decision. We need to wait for the market to make that decision here. But yeah, there is an idea. I have a plan. We're going to talk about that here. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me quickly check who we have here in the building with us. Let's see. Did you hit your stop last night? Nope. I will show you my results. I broke even on the trade. I will make sure you update it here. Otama, let's go. Jackson, LTA, what's happening, my G's? All right, I think we're live. Let's get the party started. We have a lot of things to discuss here. We're going to do our summary at the end of this stream. All the things we have done this week, the things that we have looked at this week, the trade ideas that we had, the good ones, the bad ones, the winners, you name it. Everything will be mentioned here. Looking forward to close the week strong with you guys. But in order to do that, you guys have to understand that we have to get the party started first by smashing up a tune. No more beach clubs. Nope. It's the live streams and the music that comes with it. Okay? Let's get the party started. Welcome back. Good to see you all. All right? My G's. Smash up the like button, yes? Let's go. All right. Yes, sir. Couple of very important things to discuss here. Let's talk about it right now. But before we do, I need to tell you guys something. Okay? Something has happened. We have been absolutely crushing the live streams. This is episode number 14. The overall response has been incredible here. But because I'm screaming so much in my room here, the neighbors, yes, It's a true story. The neighbors came, they knocked on my door and they said, what the hell are you doing? I said, just, oh, I'm streaming, man. I'm streaming. But hey, it's the, how do I say this? You know what? Fuck the neighbors.
Got the neighbors knocking, 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 got the neighbors knocking, neighbors knocking, neighbors knocking, neighbors knocking, neighbors knocking, got the neighbors sitting, knocking on the floor. Got the neighbors sitting,
Welcome back, baby.
Got the neighbors sitting, knocking on the floor. Got the neighbors sitting, knocking, got the neighbors sitting, knocking on the floor. Got the neighbors sitting, knocking, got the neighbors sitting, knocking on the floor. Got the neighbors sitting, knocking on the floor. Neighbors knocking, neighbors knocking.
I want you to be happy, man. I want you to be happy. Let's get in some good vibes here. The market has been horrendous. The market condition has been horrendous. So let's enjoy the music and let's get to work. Let's make it a serious session, though. Oh my God. All right. That's more than enough. We will end the stream strong, I promise. And yes, the playlist is coming. All right, I promise the playlist is coming. All right, guys. We have so much to discuss in regards to gold and everything that's going on right now. All right, we're gonna go deep into the insights here. It's very interesting. You guys have seen it over and over again. The Asian session, man. Look at the Asian session. Okay. Look at every freaking day of the week and look at the Asian session. Look at a Monday. Now look at a Tuesday. Look at a Wednesday. Look at a Thursday. And look at today. What a beautiful, beautiful session here. I think I need to start freaking trading Asian session with you guys because this is where the money's at. Okay? This is where the money's at. However, we're here in New York. We're going to make sure that we are at least fully aware of what's going on in the market. I want to make sure that you are fully aware of what's going on in the market here. You can definitely see that yesterday we saw pretty much we were stuck in a range. Wednesday we were stuck in a range. Tuesday we had the best trade of the week. What will happen today? What will happen today? That is the real question, okay? So what we're going to do here, we're going to go over all the elements of gold, everything that comes with it. We need to understand what the dollar does, right? We also need to understand exactly what else we need to know. What is silver doing? What is oil doing? I think that's an important one. What is the 10-year yield, the US government bonds doing? We need to make sure that we have that market sentiment locked in. So we at least are aware from the outside of gold what is going on. And then we're going to go to the higher time frame of gold. We're going to make sure that you guys are fully aware of the higher time frame. What has changed in terms of, you know, yesterday and today, or the day before that and today? Or are we still undecisive? Are we still in that same old, in-between phase, we could better say here? This is something that we need to figure out, and this is where we go for. If you stick to the end of the stream, I think it could be, for the series members, very, very great, because this is where we discuss yeah, our full thought process behind this whole week. The trade setups, all the things that we pretty much were looking at, for what reasons, etc. So you have a full understanding of that. I think you can learn a lot from that just by understanding the thought process here. It's the summary of everything, right? The initials, the ones that we were right on, the ones that were not correct, etc., etc., etc. here. Now, yesterday at the end, I thought about a certain setup here. This was eventually this trade. Like I said, I was going to manage this very, very tightly because there was no room for error here in that trade yesterday. And that had to do with Trump. Trump was speaking. We were in a range. So there was one trade that I was interested in, and it was sniping the 21. And it actually worked out really well initially. So a huge push and then a huge dump. So out of that trade here, let me actually see if I can show you guys. Where's that setup? There we go. I think it's here. Yes. Is it possible to just... Let me see if it's possible. Yeah, it is possible. Yeah, I mean, I entered at 21. Price came all the way up. I was like, man, this is going to kill it. This is going to rock it. We sniped the bottom. And then I saw it coming down. I put my stops and break even in this market condition, and we just came back down again. And then I got out before the last spike up, I think, and then that pushed down. And it was just a typical, yeah, Thursday Trump rangy, choppy market, volatile behavior that we couldn't really control. So yes, like I said before, very, very tight management. Oh, I hope you guys can see it here. There we go. 21, price shoot up here, and then that pushed down after that last squeeze. I think there was one more push up after that, and then we started dropping. Yeah, that was pretty much the entry and the exit. Pretty, yeah, flat, right? Had to be very tight with my management there. Couldn't deal with the volatility of Trump and everything. And after that, we started to come down. And then this morning, we pumped up again. And now we're somewhere right in the middle here. So we will have to go through all the layers and reset pretty much. And go to the higher time frame. Talk about the ins and outs of gold here. And then actually talk about, yeah, the scenarios, okay? Around this whole range and everything that came with it, etc. Okay? So there we go here. What happened, Lorenzo? Today is the same shirt. Is that so? I don't know. I don't know if it's the same shirt. Maybe it is. I forgot. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. To be honest, I don't really care either. Can't see your charts. All right, this is fixed here. In the meantime, let me see what we have with us in the chat today. Because I see a lot of familiar faces. I see also a lot of new faces right here. Keep in mind, we have been only doing this for 14 episodes, and every episode seems to get bigger and better regardless of the market conditions, which is very, very interesting. But again, it's more, and this is the whole point I'm trying to make here, right? It's more than just the trading, right? It's about the process. It's about the execution around the process. It's about the communication towards you guys here, right? It's about us setting goals, setting a vision, and also being disciplined enough to go through all these different types of market conditions as well here, right? And actually take some action around this year. So yeah, I'm very happy to see you guys again on the streams. Dylan Lobo, good to see you, my man. Crackling, good to see you. Dominic, as always, amazing. You know, you're one of the OGs here. Ochola, good to see you, my man. Alert Trader, what's up? How was your day? Amazing. Very, very nice here. Greg, hello, Lorenzo, good to see you as always. Hey, Greg. Hope you're doing well. Then we have Cian Andrews, if I'm correct, or Cian Andrews, something like that. Welcome back. Good to see you as well, Sean. Yeah, a lot of familiar faces, definitely. That's awesome, man. Marky, also a lot of new faces here. Really, really nice. Anyways, guys, if you are new to this channel, completely right, and you joined yesterday and you haven't downloaded the book yet, right, download the book, because I talk about the volume profile all the time here. And what I really want you to learn is, of course, the understanding of the book, right? At least the foundation of chapter 1, at least. That's what I want you to know. I want you to know about chapter 1, because this is what we will utilize a lot. And of course, I will, you know, keep explaining the ins and outs of this, of course, continuously on the streams. But at the same time, if you could read, you know, a couple of pages of this book, it will tremendously help with the live streams, because you just now understand exactly what and why we utilize the volume profile to find areas of interest, okay? Areas of interest for our, you know, potential executions, depending on the situation, the market condition, and all these layers. But if you know this, at least you have a little bit of an advantage on the stream against the people that don't read or don't understand what we're doing here, okay? Now, I will keep repeating it over and over again here, so don't worry. We will be going over the market here continuously and just showing you exactly how to draw the volume profile, how to utilize and how to do our proper analysis here. What is happening in the order flow, right? This is something that we want to know now. I'm going to give you a quick sneak peek right now already. That is the fact that we are now getting rejected from the sellers that took control here at around the 44.16 and the 44.25. So you can definitely see there is resistance now on the hourly time frame. And this is currently where we are in here, okay? At the same time, if you have a small range here, you can also see that we are getting rejected from the value area low of this smaller internal range here as well here. So even though it looked bullish, you can still see there is a lot of selling pressure, okay? And we are getting rejected. And at the same time, on the 5 minute, we were at least in or almost in an overvaluation here. So this is not looking that strong to me at this current moment. Okay, so this 50-minute closure will help us with a bit of an understanding. And at the same time, it's not just that, it is also, right, the VWAP right now. As you can see here on the exit charts, right here, you can see the VWAP rejection as well. There's a lot of buying here, but buyers right now are unable to break and close above these sellers right there that we actually created, or these sellers created that volume that spiked down, and that retest on the 50-minute time frame now seems to be holding up and is actually holding as resistance right now, okay? So buying here is a bit tricky for that exact reason. Selling is an idea here, okay, in the short term at least, if we want to scalp the actual market here, okay? This is something that I was thinking about in this range, because keep in mind, we are pretty much in yesterday's range or trading around yesterday's range. This is the high of the day as well. This is the low of the day. And of course, the low of yesterday is sitting right here. We're again in a range again. Okay, so I think the internal of the internal today is one. So, well, yeah, it's pretty much the same idea. As long as we stay within the internal structure, okay? Let's mark it down actually and say it like this, for example. A balance trading session again, right? The daily lows are here and then the daily highs are there at 68. Daily lows are sitting at 68 as well, right? But the 368 and the 468, and we're now trading somewhat in the middle here. Okay, so internally speaking, we are facing some resistance right now internally once again, and now it's all up to the follow through in the volume here. Hopefully, we can see some volume coming in. That will help us at least internally with a direction. But it's definitely very, very all over the place currently here. And I'll show you exactly why on the higher time frame, okay? So if you guys are ready for this, let me know. Then we can talk about the higher time frame first, right? And then we go from the higher time frame back down to the lower time frame. And then we're going to talk about the dollar, right? I think that's important as well here. Where is the dollar at? Because we understand the way the dollar moves against gold. We're going to talk about oil as well, because there is a correlation now between the dollar and oil, and also a negative correlation with the oil and gold. And yeah, I hope we can find a good understanding here, okay, of what is actually going on here. I'm going to be upfront here already with you guys, and that is that the market conditions are pretty rough in general, okay? I'm not going to try to make it better than it is. This is just the reality of what I'm seeing here. There is not that much clarity from the overall higher time frame structure. Internally, yes, there are going to be scalping opportunities, of course, right? So this is something that I think we should be kind of focusing on a little bit until we have more direction and clarity around the potential larger move here, okay? All right, hope that makes sense here. Let me know if you guys agree with me, okay? I think it's very healthy to objectively look at the market, right? And not emotionally look at the market. So not like, oh, I want this, I want that, or why is the market against me, or why is this happening here? Can we just look at the market objectively together and say, you know, it hasn't been the best condition. Look at the 8-hour candles here. We're in literally flat within this 8-hour candle. And also here, we have been stuck in these 8 hours, right? For a long period of time, we've been ranging as well. So you can see that we're kind of forming a new range inside of a previous range, right? That is the current situation here that we can see on gold at this current moment here. So I think that's an important thing to just acknowledge. And then the only thing that we can do from there is just to go deeper and deeper to the lower time frames and then find our potential edge within that, okay, until we have a bit more clarity around the higher time frame, okay? So sometimes, you know, being patient here is just the right idea here, unless you just want to scalp and have some fun. I have nothing against that. It's Friday. Why not? Why not? Let's do something crazy today, okay? But for the rest, I think that we are overall, internally speaking, pretty much still stuck in that same range as we were yesterday. Okay, now let's go in the higher time frame though, because there is some important technical structure that you need to know about, and that is the higher time frame. Okay, the higher time frame here. What happened to your buy limit? You had support yesterday. I just explained it. I just showed you the example right here. Entered here, I exited right there, and that was pretty much it. There was nothing really to do there. I gave it a try. I had a little bit of an impulse, and then I had no follow through, and that was pretty much the trade ID here. A little bit of a push. I was like, yes, this is going to be a great trade, and then we pulled back, and it was like, okay, well, fuck it. Like Trump is speaking. I'm not going to get deeper into this. Anyways, we have a daily structure here. All right, and what we can see here is that we are indeed forming now the daily resistance right there, okay? So yes, we are definitely seeing some daily resistance right now at this current moment that has formed because of that daily closure yesterday. Eventually, after the session, we started to come down a bit, and then we closed, right? And then today in the morning, Asian session, we pushed up aggressively here. So we have found some resistance. But I'm going to show you on the order flow chart why we still have a lot of indecisiveness that we need to get out of. We need to get out of that in order for us to say, hey, this is very, very clear. And there is a lot of clarity here, okay? So let me show you what I mean with this, all right? So number one, as you can see here on the, what was it? The Monday, sorry, the Tuesday chart, you can actually see right here, okay? This is the Monday, this is the Tuesday. The Monday, we had that major volume. This was a record-breaking volume day. And then on a Tuesday, we had that beautiful recovery, right? Where we sniped the bottom. And then on a Wednesday, we kind of topped out and we reversed on a Thursday, but we were not able to break, right, that Tuesday recovery yet. So we're kind of stuck holding above the Tuesday lows, right, that recovery low, but we're not seeing any bounce yet to the upside, right, where we just continue to drive up and bounce, like turning that into support and pushing higher, or breaking down and continuing the process towards the downside here, okay? So what we can see here from the order flow standpoint, within all these orders, we're similar. Right now, we're pretty much in that exact, let me just mark this out. And then we go deeper into the lower time frame later, which makes it more interesting, more interactive. But this is the daily, and you can see that we've just been actually holding up in this exact range from Tuesday. And as you can see, we have been pretty much ranging within it. So number one, we tapped into this, okay? Then buyers stepped in here, and this is a very important nuance, okay? And this is why I believe very well is that if we break out or we break down, in both cases, we can look for a trade, either long or short, by the way. Okay, I understand that the daily doesn't look too good right now looking at the daily technicals. However, we can definitely see right here that if we do break out, we still could potentially go for a bit of a pullback towards the highs here. And I'm going to show you why. Okay, so number one, what happened yesterday? This is one of the ranges that we have been seeing here. So I'm going to just actually say, remove this for a second. We're not extending this to the right. We just keep it like this. Keep this range in mind. We're going to go to yesterday's candle, okay? And we're going to now observe and analyze yesterday's candle and actually see within yesterday's candle what actually happened here, okay? So yesterday, we actually tapped into our initial zone where sellers got trapped on a Tuesday, where more selling than buying was active. Now here, buyers stepped in here, okay? And what were buyers not able to do, guys? Let me know in the chat here. If you guys understand this, and we're going to cover this so much, okay? Then I think we have something to really talk about here, because this is very, very interesting, okay? I'm going to give you a hint, all right? Look at the daily closure, all right? Watch the daily candle closure. Let me know in the chat here. Let's see. Melody says, can you please call out the levels by price while discussing the movements watching while at work? Oh, good luck with your job today or work today. And yes, I will call out the levels. I will definitely do that in a second here. Absolutely. Okay. John Sparks, he was correct. He says buyers failed to take control. And that's exactly what it is. You can see that there was buying, okay? And if you look here below, all right here below, you can see that it was green. The delta says green. That means there was more buying in this candle than selling, okay? So we saw buyers trying to take control while being in that range of Tuesday, but the daily candle actually closed below these buyers, okay? So this is the reason why today, during the Asian session, we came up, we spiked and we tested these buyers, okay? So I'm gonna set here an area of resistance right there, okay? Right there. Just make it a bit more vibrant. You can see that right there, right? We tapped into these buyers and then we got rejected immediately, okay? Right there. So price tapped into these buyers and then price got rejected, okay? So this is now our area of resistance for today, okay? I hope that makes sense here, okay? So right now what we're seeing is that buyers are not strong enough to push price higher, okay? And especially because the candle closed bearish, okay? That doesn't mean that if the candle closed bearish, okay, and this is very important because this is what people misunderstood about a candle. They see a red candle, okay, and they think, oh, it's a red candle, so there are more sellers in this candle than buyers, or more aggressive sellers than buyers, more market sellers than buyers. More people sold here than bought. But if you actually look at the data, you can actually see that there were more buyers active than sellers, okay? Now, why is this bearish? The reason why this is bearish is because if buyers are coming in aggressively and they're executing longs and they're failing to break out, that means that someone is absorbing, okay? Absorbing these buyers, right? And this is something that we have to figure out here. So what we're seeing now between the 4430 and the 4470, this is exactly where we got rejected yesterday, by the way, guys. We see that these buyers got trapped, and this is where we're seeing the resistance coming in, okay? So this is why, if we're trying to long here, we will immediately tap and long into these buyers, and this could act as a trap. This could be an area where we could get rejected at, okay? But that is very important to take in consideration. This is why I'm very careful within this range to buy into, right, the 4430, for example, okay? Now, at the same time, you can also see that sellers did step in here in the end. And this is where some buyers stepped in here, okay? And what I like about this so much is because of this information, we have now in both sides support and resistance here in this daily candle, okay? So that is between the 4390 and the 4370, okay? So we have resistance at 4428 to 4470, and we have support at 4389 until 4370, okay? So I hope you guys can kind of understand and see what's going on here and why, once again, today is an indecisive day because we're trading inside of the Tuesday range, okay? We have not seen any clarity from buyers yet. They're failing to break out. Sellers as well. They're trying to break price down. But again, there is also an absorption taking place on that side as well here, okay? So we are trading in a range, the range of a range right now, internally speaking, okay? And this is why we are now taking or doing a balanced trading session, okay? We are in that range overall here. Now, if we break out of the 4470, okay, with a lot of volume, yeah, it might be that we indeed start pushing to the 4530, okay? We start pushing up. If we break down below the 4370, right, that could mean that buyers simply failed, okay? And that price breaks down, Sellers are still in control. This was just an inducement to potentially get some buyers in, predicting the bottom. And we might indeed go for the weekly lows right here, okay? So these are the two zones that we really have to pay attention to from a higher time frame standpoint, okay? Now, don't get confused with what we're seeing here on the candlestick chart, because right here you see, oh, this might be an area of supply. But in order to be a strong supply zone, we need to actually take out the lows here. Okay, we haven't really done that either, okay? So yes, there is some resistance, but at the same time, we haven't taken out the lows when creating that candle play here. So this is not really the strongest zone that I'll be watching right now, okay? So we have support there as well. Don't forget about that, okay? How many times does it seem bearish, but at the same time, we could easily spike up here. So overall, we are indecisive from a daily time frame, from the order flow standpoint, but this will give us a lot of clarity, okay? It's a lot of clarity because the levels are very, very clear. If we can break out, we can continue to trade higher. If we break down, we can continue to trade lower. I have no bias for now, okay? I'm quite neutral from that perspective. I hope that makes sense here, okay? Now, if you want to trade now, the only way for me is scalping, all right? Lower time frame, 5-15 minutes, looking at some resistance here, especially again in a low volume session like yesterday. It's pretty much the only way to trade the market, right? Inside of that range. Outside of the range is where the opportunities, the larger opportunities are, which I could say with confidence, this is where the better and better trades will come from, okay? Let me know if you guys are so far on the same page before I move forward to the next segment of this analysis here for gold. But this is kind of the higher time frame, an order flow explanation of how yesterday's candle closed, where was the volume distributed, where were the most buyers active, where was the most sellers active, and I hope you understand why we're seeing a top wick and a bottom wick today, right? Because of the fact that on both sides, we are seeing kind of an indecisiveness here. So type in a yes or a 1 in the chat if you guys are aware of this, and then we'll move forward with the second segment of this session, which is the, of course, lower time frame, and then of course the dollar, and then kind of understand, okay, what is the conclusion for today, okay? So today I'm not trying, and I really want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Today I'm really not trying to predict the market here in terms of I expect price to break out or I expect price to break down. Now it will be really an anticipation session, right? Anticipating on the price action, on what we see, not what we think will actually happen, okay? I hope that makes sense to you. But if you like this so far, then smash up that like button. I'm here regardless throughout every market condition. I'm here for you to help you out and, you know, to just have some fun with you guys, to learn. I'm learning every day, right? I'm also learning. For me, also these market conditions. Now, I've been through many cycles, but this is also a very unique situation, right? When we're dealing with Iran and all of this stuff right now and oil spiking. Oil has been flat for years right now, right? So for me, this is also a very unique situation as well here. So, you know, just keep in mind that we're on the same path here, all right? We're here to learn and here to observe. And this is why I believe in that 5-day format where I stream every day for a couple hours. It's not, you know, a big deal for me, right? To be here to trade if I see something nice, to just learn about this market condition and what we currently are experiencing, okay? So don't let this demotivate you, all right? This is very common for a lot of traders. And yeah, this is also something that I hope helps with your overall progress as a trader as well, all right? So with that said, let's move forward here, okay? And let's actually move along. And let's go to the lower time frames right now, because the higher time frame, we know what we're looking at, what we're seeing here. Okay, now let's go to the actual hourly, okay? And what I want to do here now is the following, okay? Because today is Friday. And because it's Friday, we have something that is called a complete weekly range, okay? Now, if you go to the book here on page number, and I need to find this right here, the weekly volume profile, then you can actually go deeper into what we call, okay, the current weekly profile, okay? The current weekly profile forms as the week progresses, but only becomes reliable after at least 3 trading days. So we need at least 3 daily closures, okay? The Monday, the Tuesday, and the Wednesday. We call it the midweek volume range, and it's crucial because it identifies developing institutional interest or positioning and helps you anticipate the midweek reversals or continuations and shows where the price is accepting or rejecting the prior week keys levels here, okay? So the way we utilize this is we go to the actual volume profile here. We mark it out from the open, which is Monday. We swipe it over the Tuesday and the Wednesday and the Thursday, okay? And we might even can utilize the Friday as well, but it will not make a much difference here. We have now 4 days of volume, okay? We have the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday, and the Thursday, okay? Now, this shows a very good example of where the most volume has been traded throughout this whole week. And it makes sense because you can actually see here that exactly at this level right now, the 4424, right? We have, by default, the most orders were executed around that exact level here. So I want to mark this out right now because I want to know if we're trading above that or if we are trading below that, okay? Because if we're trading below that, I'm thinking in this range that shorts are more favorable. And if we're trading above that with the right confirmations, right? We could look for longs, for example, and we push it up towards the higher segments of this overall range pretty much. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So right now, a lot of volume has been traded here, very concentrated, by the way. And this is why I like what we're doing now on gold here, and that is we're trying to conclude and break out higher a little bit at this current moment here. Okay, but this is the hourly time frame, so it's very important to pay attention to this right now. Then we have a range right here. Okay, we have been respecting this range. This is another thing that we use, and that is the fixed ranges. Okay. You can also see this right here. You can go to page number 47, and that is what we call a consolidation, an expansion and retracement, and a continuation range. Okay, so you consolidate. After the consolidation, buyers or sellers will get accepted, right? So the buyers in this case won the game, right? On a Tuesday, we catch that trade, by the way, then we came down, we pulled back, and then we continued. And this is what we're seeing right here at the moment. If you go here and we look here at the current chart and we mark out the exact range right here, okay, from the left to the right, then we can see that we actually bounced from, let me know in the chat if you guys recognize this level, okay? But we actually bounced from what we call the value area low, okay? So we bounced from the value area low at 4359. And this is where we got accepted, okay? So this is why we are leaning right now to more of a bouncing reaction here. So we're seeing this as well here. Then we formed a smaller range yesterday, okay? Let's go and take this to the 15-minute time frame or even the 5-minute, all right? And then let's mark out this range. And then let's look at where we actually bounced from here on the 50-minute time frame. Okay, let's see if we can actually utilize this as well. And we have our level right around there. Okay, that's the value area high because we broke above that and we kind of pulled back. So we kind of can see that we are starting to form at least some support right now at this current moment. And at the same time, I can kind of see from the weekly low that a trend is getting formed and that we are getting respected. So overall, where you now have a clear understanding that the lower time frame is actually showing us a little bit of a support or at least some sort of bullish momentum here in the lower time frame. It was a quick scalp to the downside, but now that we are reacting here, you can actually see that we're holding up really, really well. Okay, I hope that makes sense here. So gold overall is holding up really well here. Now let's go to the order flow as well in the lower time frame here. There we go, right? Sellers to control there, but now we are closing higher. Okay, that means that buyers are now taking back control here. So if we manage to close above the 4425, we might indeed bounce. And I think in alignment with what we're seeing here, you know, we might indeed try to get back towards the 70s again. Okay, that is something that I'm willing to look at if we pull back to the 25s to see if we can then go to the 65, for example. I marked this out already right here. the 65s from yesterday, right? They have been holding up pretty much, yeah, the whole day. We got rejected there yesterday. We already saw that, right? We got rejected there today. And now again, we're trying to get back towards this level. So that could be a good target as well, if you can actually close above this right around there, okay? So that is on one hand the case. Now let's go, okay, and talk about then the dollar as well here. So I hope you guys are on the same page with me right now at the moment, right? We're trading above the POC, the point of control of the week. We are forming that overall trend here, okay? We are respecting the current range from the very low right here. So I'm going to mark out the very low, okay? We are also bouncing from right here, or we're close towards the very high right there, okay? And then we have to look at one more thing to conclude potentially where our edge might be, okay? And that one thing is the dollar, because the dollar has a major impact on gold as well as oil, okay? Oil and the dollar right now are both very, very interesting here. If you look at gold on the 15-minute time frame and we look at the dollar, okay, you could see that we created the bottom on the dollar today at around 1. What was the top on gold? That was around 1, okay? So pay attention to the dollar right now. So where is the dollar currently at? If you go here to the dollar and you go to the higher time frame on the dollar, then look at that. We are in a higher time frame supply zone, okay? The dollar just reached higher time frame resistance right now, all right? So this is very important right now. We got rejected at a previous supply zone beforehand. This is a 12-hour candle that opened 1 hour ago, almost 2 hours ago. And we actually got rejected at that candle already. And this was a previous 12-hour supply zone right here, a rally, a base, a drop. So a strong impulse and that pullback, right? Here again, strong impulse and that pullback. So we are in resistance here, okay? So if you are in resistance and we know there is a negative correlation here and gold is supported, we might see some follow through and we might indeed get back to the highs here. I'm not completely, I'm pretty confident that we could get there with the right confirmation here, okay? So what I like to do right now, okay, is to make sure that you guys are fully aware of this, all right? Yes, we have been pushing up, but we have been facing that resistance here. At the same time, if you want to learn about supply and demand, you can also read this in this book. The book is completely for free here. I created it for you to learn. So we can use this on the live streams, right? So you have something to learn, to read through whenever I'm not streaming. So once you come back to the live streams, you know at least exactly what I'm mentioning in this exact stream here. So we talk about supply and demand. We talk about how to actually mark out the zone, how to find the right levels, etc., etc. Okay, but I hope this makes sense here. Right, a good example of a rally-based rally, a drop-based drop, or a drop-based rally, and of course a rally-based drop. That's kind of the exact example here of what we're looking at right now. Okay, so this is, in my opinion, a conclusion to look on the order flow and to wait for the bullish confirmation here on the order flow as well, and then looking for the right pullback at the right moment, and then potentially get into long for the continuation. That's my current bias on gold. Okay, but again, because of the higher time frame being extremely indecisive, all right, we have to be very cautious with our risk. We can't be too aggressive, and we can also not be too confident about holding onto my position for too long, because you never really know what happens within this daily structure. If you manage to close outside of this, finally, maybe on a Monday or hopefully today, we will have a much more certainty about what's actually happening in the market for the next coming session. So I expect next week to be a very clean week in comparison to today, okay? And actually compared to yesterday and Wednesday, this was probably one of the shittiest price action I've seen in a while. But this is already looking better than, today's already looking better than yesterday and Wednesday. But again, the higher time frame is very undecisive here, okay? Just make sure that you guys are aware of this. But I do like what I'm seeing on the dollar. And I do like, of course, gold at this moment as well here. So anyways, this is why we're pushing up right now. That's not really a surprise right at this current moment here. If we go to the 5 minute, we are, let me know in the chat if you guys are known with what we're looking at here, okay? Let me know if you guys see what I see. Right there. let me know, because the G's that have been coming here for a couple days right now already, I think you guys are aware of what is happening here already. Okay. Let me know. Yes, we are indeed overvalued on the 5 minute. Okay, we're overvalued on the 5 minute time frame. So, what does that mean? Well, to me, that means that even if I want to get into a long, I can't. I can't get into a long setup. Okay, just want to be very, very clear on this. Okay, because if we're overvalued here, we tend to see pullbacks. We tend to see pullbacks more often than not. Okay, I just want to be clear on that. More often than not, we tend to see pullbacks. It is not the right timing. It's not the right timing for me to enter a position here. This is why patience for me is very, very important here. I'm not going to chase the market or we're overvalued on the 5 minute here, because it could simply mean that at some point we have to pull back. And again, we want to have an optimal entry confirmation. Okay, an optimal entry confirmation. We don't care about missing out on trades if we don't have an optimal entry confirmation, because guess what? Most of the times we do see a pullback right around there. Okay, look at this. This was the top. Look at that. Overvalued. This was the top. Overvalued. This was the top. Overvalued. This was the top. Overvalued here. This was the top. Right? Overvalued here. This was the top. Overvalued here. This was the top. Right? Why should we ignore an overvaluation right now? Give me one good reason right now to ignore an overvaluation if we go back to the previous times where we're overvalued. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. The previous 7 times. Why should I ignore this right now? Right? That is just a simple thought process. Okay? Let the data speak for itself here. And I'm not saying that it always works perfectly. Like, there's nothing that works perfectly. There are external factors in the market that matter, clearly. But it's about a system. It's about a system. It's about following a system. It's about executing on that system and having an optimal entry overall here. Okay? I'm not here to chase the market. I'm pretty much looking for the confirmations right there. Okay, it's a valuation tool. The way it works is it measures the dollar. We saw how important it is, right? We have the bottom, we have the top here, the bottom and the top here. I type in the dollar here, day XY. It gives me the over and under valuation. It's kind of an elastic band. The more you stretch it, right, the harder it snaps back. There is a standard deviation from the average. Now, that's how it measures the tops and bottoms, but it's not a predictor. It's not an indicator that you need that suddenly will make you profitable. You see how much extra additional work it takes to get a clear understanding of what's happening in the market, but it still will help you with the entry. So once I have a clear understanding, I know this is what I'm looking for, then it's about the timing. Okay? I hope this makes sense here. So overall, this is my current analysis for today. I hope this helped here. We are going to wait, or I'm going to wait for the pullback. Already what we're seeing here, we're seeing already the 5 minute right now rolling over. Okay, the dollar finds that support here currently, and we're already seeing the 5 minutes rolling over here. Some people say, why don't you then short it? And that's a whole other topic. We can go into this as well. But this is what, in my opinion, matters the most at this current moment. You already see the roll over here. Imagine if we would chase down the market right now, we would buy a gold because it looked so good, right? And then guess what? You're going to enter at the top, price reverses, and you're stuck in your trade. Because, you know, of something, in my opinion, that could have been, you know, easily avoided. Okay? So anyways, let's see what happens here. I'm very, very curious. And yeah, I'm here to help you guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm here regardless. And also I'm here to have fun. I'm also, you know, getting better every day. My goal is to just get a little bit better every day, a bit wiser. I'm learning a lot. And, you know, it's here to just, you know, we're just here to have a good time. All right? We're here to have a good time. And the only way to have a good time is to have some... yeah. To have some nice music in between that. We need to make sure that you guys are fully fired up. No more beach clubs for me here. I'm bringing the vibes back to your house. Smash that like button if you like the free education, guys. It helps me tremendously with growing the channel here. We have been growing a lot lately, okay? Over the last couple of weeks, days. All right? I really appreciate it here. Yesterday, we gained 1,000 subscribers in a single stream. That was off the charts. Off the rockets. Anthony, man, good to see you, brother. Welcome. Hope you're doing well, my friend. How many trades do you take a day? It totally depends. It totally depends, okay? It totally depends on the market conditions. But I do execute my trades in a 5 and 50 minute time frame. So most of my trades lately have been on the 5 minute and the 50 minute. But most of them actually on the 5 minute now, especially on gold now. Yes. And we're pulling back a little bit right now. At the moment, I would not be surprised if we could pull back here. Sellers are coming in again. We're above the VWAP right now. We do see some selling. Okay, I'm gonna give you a hint here. I'm gonna show you something that might be of interest. Let's say we close below. I can kind of see this right now on the hourly. I can see this on the 15 minute. If we can close below the 22 here. Yeah, I do think we might make a bigger pullback a little bit. Okay, we are overvalued right now. The dollar is still at support here. Local support. But we actually did close the hourly candle above it. Okay, so this is a very important moment right now for the dollar. Also for gold tier. But we're way too overvalued. We need to slow down here. Do you take trades during the stream? We do. Of course, this is my whole incentive. But we're taking good trades, okay? I hope you understand the difference. Good trades. So if the market condition is shitty, I'm not going to trade because I want to trade. I'm not going to trade because, you know, I'm here streaming live, doing the analysis and stuff, the full breakdown. We just did probably a 30-minute analysis right now. Like all the ins and outs around gold right now. Literally the ins and outs from higher time frame order flow, lower time frame order flow, dollar, volume, structure, everything. So let that be the foundation and then we go from there. You don't trade live because you're scared you're wrong? Yeah, that's true. That is true. I'm scared that I'm wrong. Lorenzo, how to create a book? Just write it and design it. But you need a team, man. You need some good people, some good designers. It took a very long time to create this book here. I think it took around, I would say 7 or 8 months create this whole book here. Okay? Yeah, you can get it for free. No hidden agenda. All right? You can just download the book and use it on the live streams. It can really help you with understanding what we're doing here. Thank you for sharing the book, my friend. Crackling, good to see you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, so we're overvalued here, right? So let's say we were chasing the market down. Would this been the best entry? Let me know in the chat, G's. Would this be the best entry? The valuation, then. The valuation. It would have been stuck in drawdown. Why are you giving away your time and expertise? I really like doing this. I'm really loving doing this. And, you know, I've been doing this for years. And I realized that, you know, I just love to do this here. And I need to trade regardless. I'm here to trade the New York session. So I'm like, why not doing it live with you guys here and go over it? And also, I get better because of you guys. Actually, you guys hold me accountable. You guys hold me accountable, okay? All right, I kind of like how we're getting supported here. Okay, I'm starting to like it. I still think we're overvalued, significantly overvalued, but I start to like what I see. Okay, we're holding, at least we're getting respected here. But if you do break down, I would not be surprised below the 23 that we would actually revisit, and need to look at the level here, the right level, that we will revisit the, let me quickly go to the 15-minute. The 09, the 44010, sorry, the 4410, yes. Okay. Ah, man, the last 2 days were kind of horrendous with price action. That's for sure. Here, we are fully. Everyone knows it, right? It's not like oh, everyone knows it. Everyone knew that like the market has been an absolute mess here in the last. You could say, in the last like 2.5 days, the Asian sessions were really good, but for the rest, the New York were pretty slow. But hey, it's not always rainbow and sunshine. It's not always perfect. And also here is where you learn a lot about risk management and about timing and about patience, especially patience, getting tested a lot. And then especially if you are patient and then you're still wrong, right? It can kind of fuck with your confidence over time. But that's all part of the game. Yeah, a lot of lessons learned for myself as well. The good part that I did was actually this week is, and we'll go over all of it, but is that I actually really, I was not greedy with my trade. So let's say I was in a trade and I was in profit. I was not greedy. All right, I was kind of expecting the market to be all over the place. And I was not hoping, right? Hoping that the market then would break out. So let's say I'm in position and I'm in profit. I was immediately kind of managing my trades right away. Just not being too greedy, right? Putting my stops on break even. And if it then goes back to my entry again, I'm like, okay, let me just observe it. And in most cases, it was the right decision to do that actually. This was a good example right here, right? So I entered, price came up. I was like, man, this is perfect. This might be the bottom here. We were undervalued, right? I was like, perfect. And then we came up and we came down and I was like, yeah, all right. And then Trump, you know, was speaking, of course. And it was like, okay, well then push higher, and then we saw a massive drop. And imagine if I would then be in a position here, my stop loss would definitely be hit. So I was actually quite happy with how I managed a lot of trades. That's actually the good part. Luke, took you so long to go back. Hey, I recognize you, my friend. Good to see you again, man. Welcome back, G. Welcome back, my friend. Good to see you. How are you doing, man? It's been a while indeed. It has been a while indeed. Damn. Leluc said, thank you, sir. I've been cooking recently with LTA concepts. All thanks to you. Amazing. Congrats. That's good to hear, man. I'm very happy for you. Still putting in the work, huh? That's amazing, man. Yeah, but this proves that consistency is king, right? Consistency is absolutely king here. That's amazing to hear. Absolutely. Yeah, the 4-hour resistance here, right? We're breaking. This is not really a surprise, right, guys? Price coming down right now. We trust the valuation, okay? We trust the valuation. We could have taken a long, we could have taken a quick scalp short actually. Not thinking about it, but because I did think it aligned perfectly with our level, right? Yeah, actually could have taken it now. Now I'm looking at it. Right at the 40s, right? Yeah, actually I could have taken it. I forgot about the 4-hour here. Okay. But yeah, anyways, overvaluation. Right now, you know how important this is. This is the 8th time, right, guys, that we were overvalued and that we actually dropped. So if you were chasing the market here, when you see it pumping, and you roll over and now you're trapped, right? That's always that's a bad situation, right? So this is why we use a tool like this. You can also use like the RSI. People call the RSI shit, but I actually think it's really helpful. But people just don't know how to use it correctly. That's my conclusion, okay? People say, yeah, price action is the only thing you need. Candle structure, price action, and maybe if you think that, then of course, then just do what you do, right? I'm not here to tell you that you should do something. Just stick with what you prefer, right? This is always the most important. But what I realized is that a timing tool can help you with knowing if you're overvalued or undervalued. It helps tremendously. It helps tremendously, man. It does help tremendously. Here we at the bottom, for example, as well, right? Here in on the variation, we created a bounce, a short-term bounce. Not much. It doesn't matter. It's not about the direction. It's just about a bounce, the right timing, right? So if the rest of your analysis is aligned, then I think you could find the right timing here. You can tell the exact same thing from the candlesticks? Okay, yeah, then just do that, right? If you see these triple wick rejections, for example, You see a lot of bottom wicks creating here. Just use the price action then, right? But at least the awareness, I think, is important. Yeah. Yeah. Overvaluation, and we see the drop here. The dollar is holding up again. At the moment, we haven't broken structure yet. Anything outside, I keep saying this, but anything outside of this is very, very clear to me. Will be very clear buys here, by the way. Anything above the 55s right now, anything above the... the 55s exactly. That's one layer. We can also, for example, wait for this hourly to close as well here and see if we could flip this bullish. And then have a bunch of sellers trapped again. We could then look on the entry. Deal with it says, my dream is to be jobless. What was your reason to start trading? Jim. Well, Jim, you have an amazing name. Because one of my favorite old school mentors is actually a guy called Jim. Okay? Funny enough, Jim Rohn. Maybe you know him. It's an old guy. He's already he already passed away 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Jim Rohn. Okay? He says, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And my reason to start trading was exactly that. It is the exact freedom here, okay? I could not live here in Bali for the last 5 years without my trading right now. I couldn't be able to live here. At least not with the lifestyle I want to live here. Okay? Not with the current lifestyle I want to live here. I would not be able to live here. All right? For that amount of time without trading. That's for sure. So it changed for me. Yeah, everything. Everything. Yeah, sellers are still pushing. They're still active. Look at that on the 15. They're trying to break it, right? We're getting down. Yeah, I'm looking at somewhat now. I have a level in mind already. Okay. Actually, I have the 4410 in mind. The 4410, but we are finding a little bit of support here at the moment, but we haven't looked at this candle. Look, a lot of sellers are stepping in. If we flip this candle bullish though, okay, that's a different story. Because if we flip this candle bullish, so let's say we break above the 35s right now, or we close above this in this case, because now the candle cannot flip anymore because we just closed it. Sorry. And we close above the 35s. And then we're holding and respecting the very low of this range, where we got rejected at least at the point of control, we got rejected. And we're actually back to the equilibrium here, okay? Which we bounce from a lot. This happens a lot. You're not always getting to the undervaluation. Yeah, then maybe if we can get back to that one more time, we flip bullish or something, then maybe I will get into the flip. And I will enter. But it depends on how we close this next 15-minute candle here. Lorenzo, bro, do you have a photo of you in Jerome? I should make some AI stuff. We should do this indeed. Jim Rohn, yeah, it's a legend in the motivational space, you could say. An absolute legend. He's already dead for at least 15 years. I listened to him when I was 15 years ago, like when I was 18. Yeah. When I was 17, 18 years old. Okay? Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun, my friends. Okay. Yeah, if I would be, if I would right now, right, let's say I would start over completely from zero. How would I do it? I would probably find a job where I could sit down and where, you know, no one is watching me over my shoulder every hour. Preferably, I would work and do something where I could stay at home. I don't know. If it was a job that I had to choose, right, I would probably do like a customer support thing or something from home, or something in sales from home, and you know, make hopefully just enough money to pay the rent, you know, to kind of make enough to just live. And then I would definitely get into the prop firm space, buy challenge, and educate myself. And because I work at home, I will be able to watch the charts. I will be able to at least set my levels out, right, without stress on a daily basis here, trade all the sessions, get as much data, as much information as possible. And anyone can do that. You can be from any country in the world. You can be, you know, in a whatever, first world country, second world country, third world country. It doesn't really matter. If you have an internet connection, right, and you have an English, you understand English, you can get into sales. You know, you can get into customer support. It's like, it's pretty straightforward. So I think that's a pretty good foundation. That's something I would do. And then I would, you know, buy a challenge. And I would try to get my first payout, right? Prove to myself that I could actually make that possible, make that happen. And then I would start compounding and building on that for a while. And just keep going and keep grinding until I'm at a place where I could, yeah, slowly work my way down with my job and work my way up with trading, right? And if your English is not that great, then of course, like, how bad do you want it, right? How bad do you want to become better in life, right? And if you think, oh, my English is bad, then maybe work on your English first, right? Step by step. Just always think like, what is the next logical step? What is the next step forward here? The best possible move right now. Yeah. All right. Okay. This is what you want to see in essence, an absorption at that level, right? As this red box. So I think we have found at least a little bit of a bounce here. I wanted to see a bit of a bigger pullback, but right now we're holding up really well. The dollar is in higher time for resistance here. Look at the 4-hour candle now. So the dollar is starting to slow down. So the gold is definitely more bullish than bearish. Now it's about the right entries, finding the right entries here. Setting limit orders around certain entries here. Let me see what the right levels are. Because now it's pretty clear to me in terms of bias for today, or for now. What are some targets? Targets could be, obviously, right, we're in a balanced trading session still. Friday. We are more long biased right now. Long biased. In resistance, higher time frame. There we go. Okay, so definitely interesting now. I can definitely see what I like to see, that absorption here on the hourly, where we had these sellers taking control. We finally closed an hourly candle above that. Then we saw the retest. And then, you know, sellers are trying to push price down, but they're failing. So that means there is a larger buyer now absorbing these sell orders. And now if you then, I think on the 50-minute can close either above this, I will set the limit order. And I think I will go from there. Okay. We have the 25s. Can you explain why we're looking for buys? Yeah, man, we did a full breakdown, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Out trades. Good to see you, man. Yeah, we did like a 30-minute analysis here. A really long analysis here on gold. To give you all the ins and outs. Okay. So I hope that that helps with understanding. So you might look it back a little bit here. This is why it's also important that if you can join at 8, that you join at 8, because we take all our time to make sure that you are aware of everything, and then we'll go from there. Piotr, welcome to the channel, my friend. Good to see you. Okay. Already 333 likes. Amazing, guys. Thank you. Appreciate this. Appreciate you guys here. All right. We didn't close above the 35s. We couldn't. At least not for now. Yeah, the 35s there. This is where sellers are coming in. It's also the point of control, right? It's also the point of control. This is why I'm saying, like, if you can close above that, that would build a lot of confidence for longs. But obviously, what we prefer is to buy low, right? To buy low and to sell high. But if you can, get to the point of control, that shows definitely a lot of strength, because yeah, then we have really nothing stopping us, I think, from getting towards the 80s again. But right here you can see that level, right? That we marked out, that level. But this is where we got rejected now. That's why that closure is so important, above that. This also counts for the hourly. But not just for the hourly, also for the 15-minute. Let me know if you guys have been liking the episode so far here. And I hope you at least, the trading is one thing, but I hope you learned something as well. And, I hope to just give you at least the understanding of the process. Why we look at the higher time frame and the way we look at the higher time frame. Yeah? And also how we then utilize some tools and tweaks. It's a trading system. It's a very specific system. And it's isolated for gold as well. So if you are a gold trader, then it might be extra interesting. But we're going to be here, man. We're going to be here for you. Julio, hello, Portugal, from Portugal, my friend. Let's make some money. Welcome, my friend. All right, so this is the pullback. There we go. Right now we're dropping finally, right? See it? Now we're coming down here. We want to be, roughly speaking, at that undervaluation there. Okay. Sellers are still trying and pushing here. Look at that. We marked out the 35 because I saw that the 35 was a very, very important level that would determine bullish structure and potential continuation here. But the 35 was a level that could not be broken. So we failed to break above this. At least buyers stepped in above at the top and then sellers to control. So this is actually bearish, guys. I'm just going to say this. For a quick scalp, this is quote-unquote bearish. And this could easily pull down towards an undervaluation. Okay? I don't see any clear levels up until at a 44.09 at least. So this could get there. Right, I'm just saying. Yeah, this is a clear rejection with a lot of selling on the lower time frame. So I would not be surprised if we would potentially come down now and actually pull back. The dollar is finding some support here, right? I'm thinking about buying. And I'm going to set a limit order already. Because we're getting undervalued slowly. Yeah, I'm going to already set a limit order here. And I'm going to move it up later maybe. But for now, I'm going to set it there. The value area high. Okay. The value area high of that range. We haven't mitigated yet. We haven't tapped into the value high yet. There we go. We're pushing down now, right? We're pushing down. I hope you can see it very, very clearly. Like I said, a quick scalp. It makes sense. Quick short there. Yeah, stop loss above the 35s, right? That's the whole idea. If the actual candle closes now below the 15, that's the ultimate confirmation, of course, because then you have the closure as well. Gold likes to trick people, especially in the last minute. But closure would confirm all that resistance again. Yeah. If you wanna go for a quick scalp here, and let's say the candle closes, what you can do is you can set a limit order at the 22s. Like there. And then, yeah, wait for price to come down here. But that's what I said before, right? Just a quick scalp. We have 30 seconds for the actual closure. So let's see where we close. Like I said, gold tends to be tricky in the last minute. It tends to show its true nature in the last minute, especially after 15-minute candle closure. Keep repeating it over and over again. It has been happening all the time. Gold is... And these 15-minute closures are so critical, man. That's something I learned from Orderflow, man. That's something new that I learned from Orderflow, is that 15-minute closures are so valuable. I was not as committed to it before as I am now. I can guarantee you this already here. Okay, so right now we have the closure. So let's say watch the 22s here and see how it reacts in the 22s. And if it can flip here. We're not there yet. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. And break down. If you can break the 14s, it's gonna flush. Yeah, sellers, man, they came back. There we go. We're getting to the undervaluation. So what I would love to see is a liquidation event here. That's what I would love to see now, like a huge flush, like a liquidation event, and then literally buy into that. That's what I would love to see here. There we go. Can we squeeze? Can we flush? Yes. I think we can. Isn't this the ultimate video game? The ultimate game. The game there games. What's better than this? Watching candlesticks all day long. There we go. Right? Now, if you entered at 22, you should put your stops on break even here. And now you want to see a liquidation event. Now we want to see a flush. Because that means we're severely undervalued and I could bounce at my level and snipe that bottom, short term at least, and see if we can hold that. Okay? That's my personal opinion here. But yeah, if you entered at the 22s, then you are you have a quick short scalp, right? Like we talked about. Who is in that short scalp at 22? Let me know. Let me know, let me know. Yeah, manage your trade then here. Because it's a scalp, right? It's a scalp. We call it a scalp for a reason. So that means not being greedy. Yo, chat, is this guy profitable? Can I copy his trades to make money? I wouldn't look at it this way. I would look at it way from a perspective of, can I learn something from him that I can implement myself later on? I think that is the better mindset than, yo, can I copy him to make money? Yes, you could. Right? You could. But that's short-term thinking. Okay? That's short-term thinking. Number one priority should be, can I learn something that I could duplicate into my own trading system? And then, can I earn something at the same time while I'm learning something, right? But have that as your priority and not the money as your priority. Yeah. Okay, it starts to struggle here a bit. We're getting to that undervaluation right now. I think we're very close to a bounce, I think. So like I said, don't be too greedy here. If it comes down more. Or put your stops on break even at the 22s and see what happens, right? See what happens. But it was pretty obvious that once we close below, right, that 22 level, that the pullback into the 22, yeah, was the perfect short-term scalp. Right? Pretty much. Should I? Welcome, my friend. Good to see you in the streams. Hope you're doing well. Joe says just got $300 from that scalp. Wow. Amazing. If you exited it. If you closed it on time and you were not greedy, then yes, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, we're watching the chart closely, so not a lot of yapping right now. Okay, it's more about looking at the order flow here on the 15-minute while observing, of course, our levels. Right, the point of control, the very low. Right now, the very high here. What I like to see was the flush, that flush down. There's still a lot of selling here. We will close this one in. Let's go to the 5-minute. Yeah, every time that we create these sellers here, we're getting rejected here. So here you can see this on the 5-minute. Here you can see this on the 5-minute. Sellers are in control still. Maybe the 5-minute is actually showing it a bit more clear here on the lower time frame. The same candle or similar candle. Right there. Took some parcels at the very low, got stopped out of break even. Okay. All right. Yeah. For now, sellers are in control here. The 22s were actually really nice there, I must admit. In terms of a quick scalp, it was a very nice scenario. Very clear closure, confirmation, and retest, right? Sell off. Welding Art, Mongolia, just subscribe. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Welcome, good to see you. Some pretty epic data here, yeah, by the way. Let me actually take another tune here. Some pretty epic data. There we go, we have the pullback now, okay. But some pretty epic data, and that is the following. Around 40% of you guys were not subscribed yesterday. 41% of you guys were actually not subscribed. So that means YouTube is pushing me hard right now. I don't know what's going on. I have no clue what's happening here. It's my edits. Welcome, man. I have no clue what's going on. But YouTube is doing something. All right. Okay. We are back at the 21s. So we're back at the initial 22s. So you should not hold on to trades if you don't. If you are happy and content, you should not be too greedy. Yeah, I love watching the order flow with you guys as well here. I think it can help you on a daily basis. Okay, this wow, look at this on the hourly. Look at how much selling that we're seeing here. 20 minutes left for the closure on the hourly. It's a typical range day again, guys. It's again a similar to it's pretty much the same as yesterday. This was New York session on a Thursday, all right? This was on a Wednesday. And it seems to be similar right now, again, okay? Tuesday, we did snipe the bottom very well, but you could see that the Wednesday was very, very similar to the Thursday New York session. And today, yeah, it might be similar. It might be similar again. And that is just flat market, lower time frame, 5-minute range. So the only opportunities that we could see are these like lower time frame scalps, right? These lower time frame scalping setups where you can get in, you get out, right? Quickly. Okay, so that was a quick scalp then, I guess. Now you start seeing that absorption taking place. We're getting close to an undervaluation as well. So we are starting to see the reaction here. What I find really interesting right now is the hourly. Specifically, the amount of volume right now coming in, okay? 2.5K, that's significantly more than the last, I don't know. Look at that. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours, okay? So in the last 16 hours, we haven't seen in 1 hourly candle this amount of volume. And now people confuse volume with large moves. That's not necessarily the case. Okay? Not always, at least. We could see a lot of volume in one candle 1 hourly candle. And you can see that there is a significant amount of volume traded on this hourly candle so far. So something is brewing. Something is setting up. Something is happening. All right. So anyways, we are seeing the hourly candle now developing. Do you have a promo code for extra charts? They need to sponsor you. Yeah, I've been asking about it, and they are probably going to give it. I've been talking with them, but not a discount code or something like that. I think it's just to try it for a month for free. So it's more for giveaways. They're not paying me or something as well, right? Just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. They're not paying me in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, there will be a moment. It should be hopefully next week where I have some promo codes for the giveaways. So you can actually try out the platform yourself. Yeah, and see what you think, right? If you're serious, of course, about learning about order flow as well. Yeah, I think that this is an amazing candle to close and to give us a direction for the next coming hours. I really, really believe that this candle, if we can close above the 25 or below the 05, that it can give us a really good indication if we can bounce bullish or bearish in the next hour with high conviction. And that's because there is so much volume traded in this candle right here in comparison to the other candles. Okay? That if we can close this candle, and we know that most of the selling occurred at the bottom of this candle, and we close the candle, let's say above that, we might bounce, and we look for that bullish continuation here. Okay? Mannen says, I always think to keep things simple better than looking for more information and complicated things here. It's what you perceive complicated, because it's actually quite simple. Yeah, it's actually not that hard. It's actually quite simple. I mark out boxes. That's all I do. Red boxes and green boxes. Red boxes and green boxes. That's it. Yeah, it's just additional information indeed, I agree. But no, this is going to help me for sure. This is going to help me. The 25s, if you can close above this, it's, I think, one more 50-minute candle to go. And I think then I feel pretty comfortable there. Do you sponsor anything else? Nothing, no. At the moment, no. Maybe soon. Maybe soon again, but not at the moment. No, not necessarily at the moment. You don't sponsor the boxer. Yeah, no, I'm getting sponsored. That was the question, right? If I have a sponsor. No. All right, so we're starting to see this now. Why is the VWAP not loading here right now? If you get a sponsor offered by brokers, will you accept it? No, not necessarily a broker. Maybe a prop firm. You get a lot of discount codes. You can do a lot of giveaways. There are a lot of benefits, I think. Well, let's see. All right, dollar is dropping here. This is a big deal, right? Higher time frame resistance. Dollar is dropping. Okay. If we can close above this, we close above this again, right? Especially the hourly candle. I'm very committed to buys here because that means that we have so much trapped selling. That means I will place a limit order at 25. Okay. And I'll put my stop loss below this candle. So limit order at 25 and a stop loss at 05. So it all depends where we close this last candle. Still a limit order, of course. Still a little bit pullback, but much hopefully lower. Now we're a little bit in a serious mood right now, right? In terms of trading, we really want to look at the confirmation here. We need to pay some attention now. How many trades did you have this week? I don't know exactly. I need to look at it. But every day I had a trade for sure. Also during different sessions, and you know, this is why we always give analysis as well around the session because. Yeah, the Wednesday, Thursday in New York has been absolutely horrendous. Yesterday with Trump as well. I heard he's speaking again tomorrow, correct? Is that correct? Is he no, he's not speaking again, sorry. No, that was already today. That was today. Or yesterday. No. Okay. Say hi to your wife. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to go to an island. I'm not going to say which island, but we're going to go to an island. A very nice island. So I'm going to come back on Monday stream. Hopefully all golden. Absolutely golden. Okay? That's the plan. That's the goal. It's Mrs. Asia is stronger these days. Yes, Asia is stronger these days. There is a lot more clarity around Asia, or at least clarity, I would say. There's a lot more movement. Motion. Yeah, this hourly closure is going to be the most important closure. And please, please, please let us close above the 25s with high conviction or below the 05s. But don't close in the middle. Don't close in the range. Actually do something. Yeah. Yeah, I might set my limit up a little bit, to be honest, right now. I think I'm going to give it a shot here. I think there is a chance that if we pull back here a bit, we have been finding that support here for a while already. The 96 is also a great level, by the way. I'm going to probably split it again. But I'm also going to try to get into the 11s here. I'm leaning bullish for sure for gold. It's just about the entry right now for me. That's it. It's just about the right entry here. The dollar is slowing down here. We're getting reject from higher time frame resistance here. We are breaking structure right now. Also the order flow. There's so much selling. So much selling, but no follow through, right? Look at all that selling here, but no follow through, right? So, yeah, I'm going to at least try to move to set the limit order as well around the 11. Push this down a bit and then get in, hopefully. Can we look at the Euro USD? I want to stick with gold on this session. I don't want to move to too many instruments right now at the moment. I hope that makes sense here. I want to specialize with you guys right now. I think it's really good to master a strategy. I did this before where I went to all these different assets all the time and it just confused a lot of people, I realized. Even if it's like a quick breakdown or something like that. Yeah, let's see where we can close it. We're not really moving down in valuation here, so we might have to move down a bit more. And wait for the right confirmation. What is your rule for maximum risk per trade? How do you handle a losing trade? My maximum risk per trade is usually around $1,000. Maybe 1,500 max, right? That's kind of the overall idea here. And how do I handle a losing streak? I don't really mind a losing streak. I think it's part of the game. How do I handle it is just to be more tight with my risk management overall. So just not be too greedy. Because usually with my system right now, I get into profit, right? I get into like profit. It happens sometimes that like, okay, price just squeezes through my entry, you know? It just continues to drop right away. But it's really rare. It's really rare. Usually, when I get triggered, I see a bounce, right? But no follow through, for example, you know? And price comes down. But at least I have time to manage the trade. And especially in market conditions where the market is flat and it's like not really moving or not giving me a good indication or direction. And that's usually where I be just more tight in my management and not be too greedy again. So not just be in the trade and then I hope for the best type of scenario, right? When was the last time you lost on stream? I don't know, man. When was it? Like last week? Like a big fat loss? What about yesterday's buy limit at 22? A break even? Right here. 21, by the way. Yeah. What happens if this candle flips bullish? Yeah, then I will immediately place my buy limit at 25. Yeah, because if you want to flip this bullish, you have to break structure, right? You will push up higher, and then I will put my buy limit there, and then at some point I hope, and I wait for that higher low. That would be a really good situation, by the way, if you can actually do that. All right, we have 1 minute left for this hourly closure, man. Please close above the 25. Show us something. Don't be in the middle. Don't stay in the middle here. At least break out of that zone. Out of that selling there. Let's close above the 25s. Can we? Can we pump? Close above this? Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Okay. That's what you want. That's what I want to see. Last seconds, right? 4, 3, 2, 1. Right above this. Wow, so tricky, man. Wow. Okay, let's set a bottom wick. Let's set a bottom wick here. Let's go to the 30 minute. I want to see the 30 minute as well now. Okay. The 19. Music volume is too high. I thought people said it was too low. Okay. All right, we break up higher. Yeah, I'm finally starting to like what I'm seeing here, because right now there is a lot of selling, but there is no follow through, right? Sellers are unable to really push price higher here. So I'm gonna give this a try for sure. 19, which is around the very low. Hopefully we can respect the very low, turn it into a wick, something like that. The 19. Yeah, man. Current price action in New York sessions, guys. This is what we have to deal with. That's it. We can't make it better than it is right now. Similar to yesterday, similar to Wednesday, right? The New York sessions have been really dry. A lot of wicking, and then suddenly out of nowhere, the real move comes, but then it's already like extremely late. So let's see if we can just at least then get into these wicks. All right, we're breaking higher. That's at least something is happening here. I do like that we closed above the 25. I do like this on the hourly here. Yeah, I do like this. Close to an overvaluation. Yeah, that's why we have a buy limit, right? Lower. You want to get at least to the 0 when entering a position. Yeah, the dollar closed below that zone, below that structure. So that's relatively good. That's good. Okay, so 19. Now we're pushing up really hard. Okay, I might set it also 25. We talked about the 25. Wow, look at that push. Finally some move, finally some breakout here, finally. And funny enough, right, which is very interesting, right? If you go to the hourly time frame, so the hourly candle here on the order flow, you can see actually that we saw a lot of volume here. Right, 3.1k is very, very high. And now we're seeing the move. Now we're seeing a breakout. So that means there was an accumulation taking place, an absorption of sellers. And this is why we're bullish biased, because we want to be looking at that absorption and utilize this. So 25. All right, that's good. So 25 then. Lorenzo, did you take consideration that we are on a weekly open price? Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, we're definitely more bullish than bearish. We said this at the beginning of the stream already, right? We are leaning towards bullish, not bearish. And now we're seeing the move here. We could have taken like that quick scalp, right? From the 22s down. But I do like that we are breaking out, because this is finally giving us a lot more clarity around what's going on. In comparison to, yeah, you could say, in comparison to the previous sessions. Ankita, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Why are you bullish? We've been talking about this now for... yeah, watch back the whole analysis at the beginning. We did like a 30-minute breakdown from top to bottom on gold here. And yeah, why we're looking at what we're looking at right now. It's very interesting in general what's going on right now in the market. It's very interesting. You're bullish based on the dollar. Yeah, that's one element. That's one element. Yeah, but to be really honest, this daily candle today, if we can close outside of the 70s, so 71.5, right? Or below the 67, so the 4367, I will have a really good confirmation for Monday. That will be amazing. Closing above the 4471, 73, or below the 4369, that will help so much. GDB got all this buy candle, Lorenzo. Let's go. Amazing, my friend. Congratulations. Amazing, amazing. That's nice on a Friday, my friend. That's good to hear. It's always nice to make some monies on a Friday. So keep it up, my G. Closing the week strong. Okay, if we would reverse, then it should be around here. We should be around this level. We know how important this level is, right? The 55s. We know how crucial this level is. So we should see hopefully the pullback here. Yeah, the 25s. I keep in my limit order right now there. And yeah, let's see if we can bounce, pullback, bounce, and actually get triggered into our trade here. I like this overall. I do like the hourly. I do love the 25s here. I love the closure above that at least. So we know this will be supported. On the 30-minute, it's actually a little bit lower, like the 19. What we can also do in theory is we could also split the contracts into two, right? So like at 25 and 19. And just split them. Maybe I actually do this, by the way. That's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm gonna actually set one here and then one at 19 right there. It's giving me like at least an average order there around the very low. Yeah, if I see any like scalps in between, I will always let you know, right? This is what I've been doing in general. If I see any scalps or something like that, any scalping ideas, right, that I can see clearly in the order flow or whatever, I will always give this to you here like we did before. On the 15-minute time frame, it was really clear when we were here. That was a really quick scalp, quick opportunity. So if you really like that, then we'll keep doing this. Let me know what you will, if you would prefer this. A lot of spamming today. We need some moderators. I never had moderators, or I didn't have any moderators because the chat was on point, no spamming. But we have a lot of new guys, I think. So there's a lot more spamming now. So we'll figure that shit out. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. Yeah, the 25 is what matters right now. That's our point of interest right now, right? The 25 is the major zone. You see a lot of sellers stepping in right now around the 55, right? Which is happening around here. Now the question is, what is for us the best potential entry? And people always say, yeah, price will never get back there. Well, it does. It does. Price can definitely get back there. Okay, but if like I said before, if I see quick scalping opportunities in between that, I will definitely give them to you because I think you guys really like this as well. I really appreciate this. So then we just do that as well. The Black Man, my G Lorenzo, only the best AI and music channel. Love that, man. The Black Man with his AI messages and comments. Love that. I am the best AI. The best of the best AI. The best AI music. The AI music, by the way, is getting crazy. I have been actually checking out some AI music. It's actually getting nuts right now. The accuracy, wow. Yo, Tommy, I made you a quick moderator right now, man. Tommy, I made you a moderator. My guy. What is the plan for this channel? Like, there is something that I realized, and this is something that I'm just absolutely gonna continue doing, and that is to trade the New York session live for the next coming months. Okay, I have no plan of stopping. So I will be for the next coming months, 8 a.m. EST. And the reason why is because I will be here anyway, sitting there behind my PC and doing it. And I noticed that my skill set is not necessarily content, long form content, or like, you know, making amazing videos. No, I like to just turn on the microphone. I like to turn on the camera, and I like to just do what I do best, right? And that's just yap my way through a session. Truly, that's something that I enjoy doing the most. It's just being here. And yeah, help you guys and execute and learn along the way. Also for me, it's a big learning experience every time. And the reason why is because the market conditions right now are very interesting. Very interesting market conditions, right? So we're all on the same page here. We're all learning together. So that is my goal, is to just show up, be disciplined enough to be here consistently. And yeah, a couple hours a day, why not? And you're gonna see all the different market conditions, the trending markets, the ranging markets, all of it. News, no news. Trump, no Trump. Looking very, very good after this accumulation here. Now we're seeing a huge breakout. Still a lot of support there. Even at the 55s right now, you could even hold that. We could even actually just hold the 55s and just continue to go higher. 55s and then, you know, stops at like 41s. It's looking kind of wild right now. But that's just because the dollar is coming now, right? We talked about the dollar being higher time for resistance now being weaker. We knew that this 12-hour makes is so important for us, so important that we know that we're seeing that rejection here. Where's next support for the dollar? I think it's all the way down at the 99.8. Maybe the maybe right now at the 99.9. But the way this candle shoot up without a bottom wick, okay, tells me it tells me that we're still like we're really expanding aggressively without absolutely closing. This is also the start of a new 4-hour candle as well, right? So that makes it very interesting. The fact that the 4-hour opened up and just shoot up without creating a bottom wick. But clearly right now, if you go to the higher time frame, okay, the 4-hour here is still open, but look at that, we're breaking above these critical areas, so that's really good. We are now back at the major level, that major zone, okay, which is right here between the, and I'll show you, it's this level right here. This is the major zone, okay? It's the 65 to 75. The 65 to 75. So if you are in profit, let's say you took a trade, right? Already earlier or whatever. The 65 and the 75 is the area where you have to pay a lot of attention to what's going on here. Okay? The 65 to 75 is such an important zone. You can actually see this already very, very clearly on the charts as well, right? 65 to 75. Yeah, we're back in an overvaluation now as well. While we're tapping, of course, into this on the 5-minute and on the 15-minute as well here. So now it's about for me, it's about the pullback and the entry. And yeah, definitely now not gonna like, I'm definitely gonna set it at me. It's gonna set at least 2 contracts right now. No need to buy it at 19. And then we'll just keep pushing higher and waiting for the pullback. The pullback will come at some point, and that's the entry. And then looking for the continuation. What was the last big trade you took on stream? I think it was actually the biggest trade of the week. It was actually Tuesday. Yeah. That was Tuesday. I think we got a lot of new people since then. Yeah, so the 25 is such an important level. It's the VWAP as well as the hourly. The hourly where we closed above. This is where these sellers all got stuck in their position right here. So right now I stick at the 20s, 25s as well here. We are now at our major resistance here. So you see how we're reacting here immediately, right? We kind of saw that coming, that rejection here. I can go to the lower time frame and look for like a confirmation, but it doesn't really look appealing right now for a scalp because it looks really strong. This is not something I would like to short as a scalp right now. So it's not something that I would like to tell you guys as well in comparison to what we saw here. That's a kind of a different structure. This looks a bit stronger still. Depends where we close this 15-minute in 7 minutes. But yeah, for now I'm sticking at this. Yeah, but look at that reaction, right? So this is what I'm saying. Like, if you did enter there, right? If you did enter there, then what will happen is that you will get back there, right? And then we could get a pullback. And then, you know, you missed out on a whole move because you stayed in your trade. So let's say you entered on the breakout, you're a breakout trader. You entered there, right? And then you hope that it breaks out, but then it doesn't break out again, right? And then you get back to your entry again. So usually when you're in a balanced trading session, so when you're in a range, let's say you are in a range like this, right? Something like this, okay? This is the daily low. The daily low is, I think, here. Oh yeah, sorry. Daily low is right here. Okay? And this is where you get rejected. Then when I trade in the middle, I'm trying to not anticipate like the breakouts all the time, right? I like to take profits there, or I like to get out of my trade maybe and not be too greedy unless the market is showing us that we go from a balanced trading session to an imbalanced session. So how do we become an imbalanced session? We become an imbalanced session if we would, let's say, break out of the daily highs or lows. So this is the daily high, right? And this is the daily low, right? Then we go from a balanced trading session to an imbalanced session. Yeah, that's a different story. Then if you pull back into the range, I could say confidently, okay, now we might look for the continuation. Or the only way I would hold on to my trade, right? If I'm bullish bias for the day, would then be potentially, let's say I entered at the bottom of the range, right? Something like here, and we get there. Yeah, okay, then maybe here I would hold on, right, to the trade, in the hope that we break out eventually, right? We might, that at least have so much room for price to develop to then make that decision, for example. I hope that makes sense. That's the way I like to look at it in a balanced trading session like today and yesterday and the day before. But this is why I'm always saying just pay attention to this. And if it then breaks out eventually, you know, it breaks out. But I prefer to be in really good entries here. But I mean, today looks pretty strong, right? We cannot neglect right now that we're looking pretty healthy, especially because of all that volume traded in this hourly candle. The 3.1 thousand contracts traded in the hourly candle, which is really high. It's as high as the last, whatever, 9 hours I said before, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, sorry. 16 hours, right? There's never been an... in the last 16 hours, is the last hourly candle had the most volume. The most volume traded. So yeah, now this is a very important moment now for gold here. Because it will determine if this will act, if this is just a breakout or a push by another rejection and then the real move. Doesn't mean we can't look at the pullback entries right now. Can you show us the volume indicator you're using? Yes, sir. That is the fixed range volume profile on the left side of your screen. You can actually utilize it right here. You can use it in different ways, right? We have written a whole book about this. And this is where I can also find the settings. And it's a free book. You can learn about this right there. And then, yeah, you can get also an understanding of how we utilize the volume profile. And of course, on the stream, we see it a lot, right? We see it a lot. But again, we're overvalued right now. We're seeing the reaction again, guys. The dollar is now back at a range. Look at how gold is responding here, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, you know, let's say you entered on the breakout and now you're pulling back, right? Taking profits there would have been nice, right? I hope the thought process makes sense. And you see it happening again, the overvaluation. So that's why I'm never chasing the market anymore. I'm done with this. I grew over it. I grew over it myself here. Like sometimes in a quick scalp, in a range, like I said before, I'm fine with this. But if I'm willing to go into trades, I'm looking for the right trades with the right entries, etc. If I see something in the middle for you guys that are, you guys are interested in trading, obviously I get that. And I see something interesting in the order from the lower time frame, I will let you know for sure, like we've done before, already many times. But overvalued and a rejection right now. In that zone, in this box, right? Look at that red box. There we go. So yeah, nothing really surprises me now anymore. At this moment. Yeah, we do have the 30. Let me go to the 50 minute right now. Let me see if we have another level in between that. The 30. No, I think that's pretty much it. I think that level is the level. So the 30 minute. Yeah, the 25, maybe the 36, but like. Because we don't have a bottom wick here, we might go for the lows here of that open. Martin says, I just scalped a nice sell. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's just like, that's why I'm here, man, to give you at least these scenarios as well. And saying, hey, listen, this is a level where you have to pay attention to, right? You have to pay attention to this level. And I like that some people are very proactive as well in the chat. It's like they're very proactive. They're taking this and they're using this information to it helps them with their approach to the market, which is very good. It's something I really appreciate. So awesome. Where's your buy limit? My buy limit right now is at 25, 44.25. But I'm just observing. All right, yeah, we definitely see rejection here, guys. Definitely looking at all that absorption of these buyers here. Sellers are stepping in right now. We closed on the 5 or 50 minute. We actually closed below this. But this is what I mean, right? This is where scalps could potentially come in again. Because what's happening right now is you tap into these sellers and price will fill a lack of orders right there, getting back to the VWAP, right? So that's kind of like your thought process is like, you have that zone and then it might try to break down here and follow through here. That's why we said, okay, that 15-minute closure will give us at least an insight of where the most volume was traded, where we close, and then, but yeah, it's a bit trickier than the one before that, in my opinion. Hi Lorenzo, did you end up keeping your buy limit yesterday after the live? Yes, I did. Right here. And then after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 minutes, I got out of the trade. Because Trump was speaking, it was, yeah, it was pretty horrendous price action as well. And luckily, we managed to trade very well. Which I already told you guys, I was going to manage to trade very, very precisely. I was not going to just leave it running. Anyways, I appreciate the support, G's. Hope you guys are doing all well. I hope you guys are gonna get into the weekend with some, you know, with some good vibes. Maybe you're still at work right now. Maybe you are at school. Maybe you are chilling at home, right? Knowing the weekend is coming along very, very soon here. The market will close very, very soon as well. And I hope you had a good week where you learned a lot. Keep your vision aligned. Stay motivated to make this work. It will pay off. It's the simplest or it's the hardest way to make easy money. It's the hardest way to make easy money, and it's a real fact. Okay? So to keep moving forward and be consistent and actually, you know, work on a trading system. I'm still doing my best to optimize this over and over again. And try to get better every time. But market conditions change, so do we, right? We need to adapt to this. So, you know, the learning never stops. This is something I can tell you. There's never like really, you know, an end to this. The learning never stops. It's always about optimization and trying to get better. Hamdani says, hi, man. I'm from Bali. Amazing. Welcome, man. Dominic says, it's actually have been a challenging and difficult month, but to be honest, the community and your streams are keeping me afloat and not panicking. Amazing. Yeah, it's definitely true. I think for a lot of people. I think for a lot of people right now. Yeah. Yeah, you see, it's definitely more tricky now. But overall. All right. Yeah, for now, I'll keep the order, definitely. Nothing I really want to change now. Dollar is definitely tanking. Dollar is definitely on the weaker side. So that's definitely something we absolutely cannot neglect here. Yeah, rejection again. Sellers are still pushing here. To be honest, guys, give me an objective feedback here. Hasn't been this the most choppy week of the quarter so far? After the big move that we saw on a Monday and Tuesday. And it actually makes a lot of sense, right? If you open a week, right, on a Monday, let's say this is the Monday, right? Right here. And price comes down like 10% and it comes up 5% in a single day, right? And then it pushes down and it creates a push up again, aggressive. And then you start ranging, right? It makes sense that the market is kind of in a larger, you know, accumulation or distribution phase right now, right? That's just the reality of the market right now. There was such a large impulse to the downside, such a large liquidation event where a lot of deleveraging took place. A lot of people got taken out, doing especially the Mondays, right? And then we saw that correction on a Tuesday. And now it seems like the market is simply just, you know, creating that liquidity, enough new orders in the marketplace to make a decision, right? And we're trading that right now. We're trading that environment right now, right? We're trading these ranges. So don't take it personal. Don't get annoyed or frustrated, because also this happens, especially after these large moves in the market. And I understand it is, or it can be extremely frustrating, but it can also be very educational, very educative, educative, because you're gonna experience this a lot more, okay? You're gonna experience this a lot more. It happens especially after these large liquidation events. This is very normal, okay? So don't be frustrated. Don't doubt yourself now, right? I don't want your confidence to come down in market conditions like these at all, okay? I don't want that. I don't want you to think that, oh, it's you, it's your strategy, it's you. Don't worry about it, man. This is very normal. And then this is also something that you cannot control. So why worry about something that you cannot control? Okay? The way I deal with it is, as you can see, I'm more patient. I'm waiting for certain orders in the market. If it hits, it hits, right? If it doesn't hit, it's okay. And I manage my trade a bit more sharper. I'm not greedy. That's the way I deal with it myself. That's how I like to deal with it. This is why I'm profitable this week. And yes, it was not many trades, right? Not as many trades as we're used to, but maybe for the better. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, maybe for the better. Right? Because that trade that we took was a monster trade. So that's how I like to deal with it. Watch what happens when we start moving and picking sides again. And I'm taking a look at the daily order flow here, and you know, we talked about it, right? A daily closure above the 4471 or below, preferably, right? The 4370, right? That will give us a lot of clarity about the Monday, the Tuesday, right? Follow through, because I know that if we break and close above the 70s, we'll most likely visit the 4650, or if we break below, right, the 4360 or 4350, we'll most likely revisit the 4000s, okay? The 4100, sorry. So for me, it's very, very clear what needs to happen here, okay? In order for us to get that clarity. So that gives me a lot of peace of mind, myself. All right, so I hope you understand how I deal with this as well. And I think that you should not take this personal whatsoever if you're frustrated about the market, because it's all, for me personally, what I've realized, and I'm still learning, but what I've realized is that I understand that, okay, this is the market condition. We have seen a large liquidation event. We're now starting to range. So this is my approach to the market. And usually the only thing that I change is not my strategy, but it's just more my risk management, increase my patience, and just mentally prepare for it, that I'm less greedy. So I'm not trying to hold on too long to the setups, for example. I like to take profit earlier, for example. Like all these things, I just know, okay, we're in a situation like this here, and I'm not hoping that I snipe the bottom and then hold on to the trade and I'm up thousands of dollars and then price comes back to my entry again. You know what I mean? Marta from India, first time on your channel. Amazing. Lorenzo, my G, I got to know that we have 7 videos. We do in a group, yes. Lorenzo, your optimism and happy vibes in these streams really make my day. Love trading with these streams, thanks. Thanks, G, thank you. Would you say we're in a compression range right now? Well, absolutely we are. Like, look at the daily, right? We are in the middle of a major range. Buyers are getting trapped here. Sellers are getting trapped there. Whenever that happens and you see that we're trading within this, it shows that there is a compression taking place here. However, buyers are definitely looking better. If you go to the 4-hour, we're bouncing off of support. Buyers are definitely taking control right now, right? We're seeing a large absorption taking place. So, you know, buyers are definitely holding up really well. But on the 15-minute, we are in resistance right now. Right here. So I'll prefer to take price down to the 25s, where we initially started. Printing the bottom wick, right? We don't have a bottom wick. Right here. What will happen, and I can already see what will happen here. Look at this 4-hour candle. This 4-hour candle will do what? The 4-hour candle will flip bearish, okay? This 4-hour candle will flip bearish, and then everyone thinks, oh, this 4-hour candle is going to flip bearish. People are going to short it. And then the question is, right, is that enough fuel for a manipulation to the upside again? For example, like a lot of sell stops will be activated here. Okay, that's what I believe. A lot of sell stop will be activated. The moment the 4-hour flips, people will enter short market. That's what you want. And if you then see an absorption and it's not really going anywhere, that's when you want to buy. Since I've started following you, not a single month that I've ever closed in rent. So big shout out to you, man. Wow. Ajay. My man himself is back in the streams. Good to see you again. John, too choppy to trade. I'm up for the month, so I'm super hesitant to get into this price action. That's an important lesson, my man. John, that's a valuable statement right there. Just knowing when to take a step back when you're up in profits and not try to force anything if you don't feel like it. Completely agree with you. Yeah. Are you committed to the 25s, to that level for your buy limit? Yes, I am, actually. Yes. Yes, I am. I am pretty committed to that level, yes. Yes, if we hold it, of course. If we pull back, we have to at some point. If price continues to go up, right? Like the way I just play the game right now is if price continues to go up, I look for the next level where sellers getting aggressive in an uptrend. And then I'll look at that as my entry, pretty much. Right now, it is actually, and I will actually show you, I'll remove these, the point of control of this range. Right on the 5-minute. It is actually the point of control here. Last day I'm trading gold. I'm out. Yes, welcome to the gold train. Remember when gold was just killing it in the last couple of months? I think we'll get back there at some point, but we're definitely not there yet. We have a long way to go before we get back on that like hype train again. Okay. Mausje says from the Netherlands here, Luke, Lorenzo, just keep following you, but why you look trading on buys when on the higher time frame you look at all going down? Have you watched the first 30 minutes of the stream, my friend? Let me know. I wish I could explain this in like 2 minutes. Then I would definitely explain it to you in 2 minutes. But I think I really took my time to explain the reasoning behind buys. Okay. And why they're definitely favorable. And you can actually see it as well today. Yeah, wow, what a price actually. If we can close this as well here, we have also the 50s as my next buy limit. Just keep pushing higher and then go to the 50s. But and let's see where we close here. So annoying. A lot of movement today. You see like a lot of consolidation and then a huge move right to the upside again. So unless you enter in the consolidation and you wait for a couple of hours pretty much, then yeah, you could get into the trade. What are these, like Indian vibes or what? I've put it in the playlist just in case. Let me know, what have you guys done this week so far? How has it been going for you this whole trading week? Let me know. I definitely made the most money on a Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday was and Thursday were all very, very choppy for me personally. Okay, today also is similar. So actually this week has not been my overall best week in terms of consistency, because I'm getting into a lot of break-even trades, especially since Wednesday, Thursday. A lot of unstable price action, a lot of consolidation as well. And setting my orders, you know, not getting filled, etc., etc. But overall, we're up for the week, so that's good from my side. Let me know what you guys have been doing this week so far. Wieland, this is amazing week, one of the strongest. Wow. Okay. Marcio says I made $19 on a 10K account. Hey, it's better than nothing. It is better than nothing. All right, if this candle closes now, we'll move up our buy limit to the 50s, which is right there. John says fewer trades this week, tough PA, but I'm up for the week and the month. Okay. We've missed this huge rise. Yes, exactly. Well, there's nothing wrong with it. Unless we're just pressing buy or sell, right? Randomly. $94 hit, lost over 200k in the past couple of days, but you've been helping me a lot. Amazing to hear this. Yeah, I've been a bit more observant in this moment right now. The 15-minute as well has been breaking out. We're looking very, very strong. This is why I told you guys, like, this time that scalp, right? I told you it's different than the last time right here when we set the scalp or take a quick short right there. You could see how much stronger gold was reacting. It's holding up as well here. Close my trade on 4499 up till Monday. Have a great day. Amazing. Congratulations. Congrats, congrats, congrats. Can you simplify entire strategy in 5 minutes? Yeah, we talk about it all the time. So we have what we call valuation plus correlation. So for example, gold versus dollar. Right, that's one example. We use our tool, right? The valuation and correlation. We also have a tool to measure it. How is it measured? For example, when is the best time to enter, roughly speaking? Higher time frame supply and demand, or support and resistance. Simple. Don't have to overcomplicate that. Lower time frame volume profile. Right here. For our key levels. Okay. And then order flow execution. All right, order flow execution. That is our framework right there. Right, these four things are what we're looking for. It's a 4-step system right here. The valuation and correlation go hand in hand. Okay, this kind of helps us as well. By the way, this is also higher time frame order flow as well. Right, the order flow confirmation right there on the higher time frame. We make that analysis. And if you just follow this exact process, it has been proven to be very reliable. Of course, any market condition, in certain market conditions, things are just, you have to be more patient, etc. But it's the higher time frame support and resistance, order flow, and then the lower time frame volume profile. By the way, everything that I talk about here, except for the order flow part, that's the only thing I don't talk about in this book, is written down, okay? It is all written down in this free book. Explained exactly the way we look at the volume profile, the way we look at supply and demand, right? And the way we look at certain executions as well as valuation as well, by the way. That the valuation is also explained perfectly in this as well here, okay? Valuation, right? Right there. How powerful the valuation can be and the correlations as well. Everything is explained in this book for free, okay? You can get this for free. It's pretty much my life's work, my career's work. This is how you could call it, okay? So I created this whole book for you guys to explain that in detail, okay? But this is a whole book. It's a lot of information. It is not a strategy. It's a framework. It has all the information that I looked at. I compressed all that information, okay? And that turned into a system which is specifically built for gold here, okay? So it's like a gold hybrid system, all right? And it's executed on the 15-minute, and 5-minute time frame, okay? That's the explanation here. I hope that makes sense, my friend. Yeah, so gold hybrid system, 15, 5-minute time frame, valuation, correlation, supply and demand, volume profile, order flow. That's it. And if you follow, there are rules, of course, into it, risk management, right? There is some discretion to it as well, but it's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it, okay? Yeah. So if you want to learn about this, at least you understand what we talk about on the streams, it can be really, really helpful, okay? And even if you have a different strategy, you know, there are probably some things that you could just still pick up from it. All right, huge breakout, huge breakout. Was it 55s? I think so, yeah. 55s, yes. We will probably close above the 53, actually. It was 53. And then it was 09. Sorry, 09 or 13. Sorry, 13. All these confirmations are killing the profits from big movements like this, but unfortunately no way or shortcut around it. But sometimes, bro, it's true. But sometimes the big moves happen after the exact reaction, right? You can look at it from different ways. You can look at it from different ways. Like there are definitely a lot of moments where it's the other way around, where you actually get into a confirmation, a smaller pullback, and then the big moves come, for example, as well. So. Is the background fake? Why are so many people obsessed with my background? City Joe says, you said many things that never happened since Tuesday. Tommy, you don't have to delete that message, by the way. You don't have to delete these messages. I think that doesn't make any sense. You can keep these messages in the chat. Okay. There's no worries with these comments. I think it's fair. But by the way, from my side personally, there are a couple of layers indeed in terms of the market where we just pay attention to right now. And since Tuesday, like this is the Wednesday range, the Thursday range, okay? Yes, there were definitely some really uncertain market conditions here on the Wednesday and the Thursday. I can't neglect this. I completely agree with you, actually. Okay? However, I think in terms of the trade management, I think we've done really well, which allowed me to just at least keep everything alive, everything afloat, not lose any money according to these market conditions right here. So for my side, I'm very pleased with the situation here. So for my side here, I'm not here to pretend that I'm sort of freaking, you know, amazing guru that knows exactly how to trade in all kinds of ways, all market conditions, knows exactly every little detail that's going to happen. I'm never here to predict the outcome of the market either. I'm just here to anticipate on what I see, just as you are. So if you like that, and I'm just here to try to provide you with the additional information as well on a daily basis. And yeah, it's going to come in waves. I can guarantee you this already. It's going to come in waves. But I think the last big trade that we took was the big winning trade, though. That was the biggest trade on stream that I took, at least, with you guys since we started the format. This was also this week. right? So you have to put it in perspective, in my opinion. But yeah, don't be obsessed with me, like my outcome here. Just take what you can get out of the streams. If you like it, of course. If you don't like it, then different story. Is the higher time frame the most reliable to evaluate daily targets? The supply zone on the 45-minute chart is around 4575, 4600. Yeah, I personally really like to look at higher time frame supply in a month. So I agree. I think personally, yes. It helps me tremendously for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Closure above the 4470 on the daily for me is very, very important today. If that can happen here, we can actually close above the 75. So above the 70s today. By the end of the day, just close above the 4470. That's going to help me tremendously for a Monday. It will give me a really good indication on the Monday here. Definitely. Joy, Lorenzo, do you remember we've been away for a while? How are you doing? Good to see you healthy. Thank you, my man. I appreciate this. Absolute legend. Good to see you back. Lorenzo, I think we can ride the sells for that pullback from that 15-minute, 1-hour supply. Dollar is the only thing letting us down here. Well, the dollar is looking weaker. I actually want the dollar weaker. I'm actually happy with the weaker dollar right now, to be honest with you. Okay, I want to see the dollar pushing, but at some point we have to pull back, right? And let's see when that actually will occur here. For now, beautiful breakout, inverted head and shoulder breakout. And this was actually a really nice retest of that. So we were looking for buys. Couldn't really get into the right entries here, but overall, any retest would be great. I do like this a lot. Only a trader understands waiting, plan your trade, and trade your plan. No pressure, protecting your capital is priority number one. I've learned that the hard way. Absolutely, my friend. This is completely true. I completely agree. Yeah. All right, for now, it's just going. It's just pushing. Nothing is stopping it here. It's just moving. Okay. We broke above the hourly finally after yesterday. Okay, we had this huge range consolidation. We managed to got a lot of buyers here. They all got liquidated here at the top pretty much when we started pushing down all stock. We bounced from the fix very low. We broke, we held support, and we actually came up higher. This might set in the trend that we were actually waiting for, right? That is the good part here. I think Monday will be very, very interesting. Monday will be one of the better days, in my opinion. That's why I'm looking forward to be there on a Monday, regardless, right away. After I come back from my quick holiday, or a quick weekend. My quick holiday. We're going to go to an island. We're going to go on a jet skis. You know what I mean? We're waiting for the inverse head and shoulders neckline retest. Actually, if you look at it from this perspective, yes. But that's not the way I actually was looking at it. But now you're saying it. Actually, it's true. Now, I was looking at the key level. Specifically the 4-hour. And then the 4450. I have my limit order already set there now. 4453. And then stops at 4408. It is roughly speaking a 30, 40 pip move, 40 pick range, 40 point range, sorry. Let me look at the order flow on the lower time frame for now. You can kind of see our next level. What is our next zone here on the higher time frame? I think it is the 30. Right? It is the 30. Yes, it is. And that's why we're reacting here. This is why we have been reacting around here. So, yeah, this is a pullback. This is again a next pullback zone right now. Okay, a pullback level or an area where pullbacks could occur right now. If you look at the order flow or the sort of candlestick chart as well, it will be the point of control, right? Yep, exactly. Point of control here as well. This is where tops, local bottoms or local tops get created. This is an area where I do think that a new resistance is formed. So when we're talking about pullbacks, like these are the pullbacks that we are taking in consideration, right? We're kind of also not just looking at, okay, what is our entry, but what are next zones, next levels that we need to pay attention to. And the 4513 is that level. Okay, this is the point of control of that range. You see how price reacts here right now. So this is definitely an area where we will find some resistance for now. You can see this right here. Sellers are coming in or trying to step in here. On the 50-minute especially, you can see it very, very clearly. But there is still an absorption, okay? There is still an absorption. It's still holding up really, really well. Regardless, the amount of love that we have received since we started this order flow series, the volume plus order flow series here, this is episode number 14. And episode number 14, and I think we started at the beginning here, and I think it has been absolutely skyrocketing, man. Thank you, I really appreciate that support. And if you like this free education here, okay, then I would highly appreciate you smashing up that like button. That's the only thing I'm asking. You can smash up that like button. It helps the channel grow. It's how the YouTube business works. So I really appreciate this. And I will be here every market condition, every session. I will be here the next coming months, if so. That's my plan. I'm not really planning to stop anytime soon right now. I'm very committed to this. Very committed to this. Showing up during the New York session here. Going through my framework, my analysis, and just sticking to my plan. Sticking to my plan. And in the meantime, if I see something in between, then I will give you my opinion. And of course, the order flow on gold is very interesting to watch regardless, right? To learn and to watch it together anyways. So you can actually learn about how these orders are getting executed in the marketplace. These buyers and sellers, who's in control, what's happening here. A lot of selling. Why is the candle not moving bearish if we are seeing so much selling here in this candle right now? So many sellers are getting executed, but why are we not pushing down, right? This is how sellers get trapped right now. They're predicting the top and they're getting squeezed out of their trade because they look at a level, they see a reaction, they get into aggressively, they get into short market right here. Let's be honest, right? If you would look at this right now, you would see the candle flip bearish here. Would you be tempted at this resistance to short it? Be honest, right? I think a lot of people would say yes. A lot of people would say yes. Travis, my man, welcome. You see the candle flip bearish after that rejection, after that large push, right? A lot of people would go short out of impulse, right? They see the red candle. And then what happens is, right? A lot of people get triggered and then the candle closes still green. That means there are still buyers active, for example. But the order flow presents this very, very well. Very well. And it's a very interesting thing to learn and to just observe. Even if you don't have access to it, I will be here every day. So you will see it every day if you want to. You can learn about it. And yeah, I do believe it will really help you because look at all that selling, but the candle is not reacting bearish right now, right? So interesting. Look at that, right? Look at that. So what's going to happen now? These sellers are going to put their stop loss somewhere around there, and they're going to get squeezed out of their position. It's very nasty, but this is how it works, right? This is what you see now on the same time frame, the 15 minute on both sides. So you see that reaction, you see that resistance, and then boom, you get into short, and then boom, it squeezes up higher again. And it just ignores you completely, right? Yeah, well, this is what you can see, and this is how you can actually wait for the reactions as well. This is why what I like, let's say sometimes in that candle here on the 15 minutes from an order perspective, right? This is the question, and how do you enter? How do you actually enter the trade? Well, let's say the selling is here. It's up here, okay? And the candle closes below that. Then it means that usually when the candle actually closes, sellers are usually then actually in control in that resistance. And if there is then a lot of buying into that and there is no follow through, you can take a safe short setup and then price will roll over. If, let's say right now, you want to go short, right? What does need to happen? In my opinion, what needs to happen is you need to close below the red box here. You need to close below the sellers, because in this case, the sellers are lower. So you want to see a closure below the 4501. And then you look for the pullback to the 4475, which is at least the expansion where we broke out of, right? So you need to close below here to take this scalp short there. That's an example, right, of how you could look for a potential scenario or a trade right here. Okay, now it just depends on where the actual volume was traded inside of that candle. Okay, right now, a lot of limit orders, buy limits are getting activated because there is not much buying getting activated here. Not much aggressive buying. Not many guys are pressing market buy. It's just sellers are trying to just short into a larger buyer. So selling is very risky right now. That's what I'm trying to say. Predicting the top is very risky in this example, in this specific trading example. Okay, I hope that makes sense. That's kind of what we're seeing here. So that closure below the 4,500 right here, that would make sense, right? If you can see that closure below, to then come down again. So don't, in my opinion, trying to short here at the top or predicting the top is a very, very tricky situation here, okay? And this was a perfect example in real time, right? Where you could actually see this happening, right? Where sellers stepped in, but there was no follow through. There was no follow through. Okay? So this is an example where I usually would have taken a short for a certain reason, right? It being a range, a retest of the expansion, right? The point of control. But this kind of allows you to say, hey, it's not the right moment yet. You need to see confirmation A, confirmation B, and then the real move actually starts here, right? Yes. Okay. So when we looked at the daily candle, for example, on gold right now, right? Just wanted to look at this example. We looked at that daily candle for gold here. Let's go to the daily, okay? And when we looked at the daily, right? We saw this. Let's take this a step back. Right here. And now the daily opened up and then people start marking out these supply zones right there and they say, hey, this is bearish. We're gonna get rejected, right? And then guess what happens? We just break higher. And this is exactly, if you look at the first 30 minutes of the stream, when we went to the whole analysis right here, this is why we said, don't be super focused right now on that zone right there, okay? Because we're seeing on both sides of the story here internally, okay, that we have not that direction yet in that moment, okay? So I hope that makes sense. We talked about this. If you want to re-watch that, I think it's a very interesting thing to look at it, right? From that perspective. Okay. So yeah, definitely super interesting to witness the order flow in real time here now. and see how it reacts. And then look at what happens, right? This is another beautiful example. You see now that the candle closed bullish. What happened when this candle opened up? Where did it tap into? Let me know in the chat, please, Cheese. Let me know in the chat here. All right? Let me know in the chat. What actually happened here? When we talked about that candle. Give me 1 second. Exactly, right? So what you could see here, right, when this candle opened up, closed exactly, the new candle tapped into the area where the seller stepped in, okay? So if you want to scalp your way into trades, for example, okay, then what people do is they wait for price to tap into this, and they actually then take an entry there where the sellers got trapped. It's so interesting how this freaking works, man. It's so interesting. It never disappoints, and it's so interesting to see because you see that selling in that candle where you close bullish, but there was more selling than buying in that candle, predominantly below, and then the candle opens up and it just turns that exact thing into support. Why? Because the sellers that stepped in here aggressively closed probably or could be closing their trades on break even. And what happens when they close the trades on break even? When they close their sell, right, they have to sell it to someone that buys it from them. So then you have that bounce. It creates that volume to the upside. It creates that buying pressure. Do you understand? It's super interesting to witness. And this is what we have been talking about on the streams. And this is why I mark out these boxes all the time. And this is what you can see here as well, right? The candle closed bearish above the area where the most volume was traded, predominantly sellers, and boom, it turned it into support immediately. Right? Sometimes it turns it into support and it pulls back into this and it then goes higher, for example, right? Sometimes it closes. This is why I put a limit order immediately at 25 because I wanted to see the pullback into it and then the reaction. But this exact trade that I'm thinking about or was thinking about was actually happening on the 50-minute right now. You can see this right here where we reacted into that, okay? This the same absorption is what you're seeing happening on the lower time frame continuously, okay? So this is also a great way of scalping. What should have I done with the streams, for example, if I wanted to trade, take a lot of trades, for example, right? I should have pretty much stayed on a 50-minute time frame with you guys, okay? And just wait for these things to happen here. This is a good example here as well, right? Strong selling, we closed above this. We pulled back into this, boom, we went up higher. Right? So what can I do for the next streams, for example? This is also a great lesson for me, for you guys, that I'm realizing right now, is that if we are in these critical ranging market conditions, right? Where price was just ranging and ranging and ranging, and now we're suddenly having a breakout. I just need to look for these type of confirmations and just take that more serious for these scalping opportunities, for example, instead of looking for the best setup, right? The best trade. Now, we are profitable. We ended up the week very good with like a big trade. So I'm very happy with this. And like, I have nothing to complain. But in terms of like these examples, if I see them happen, like why not taking them, for example, right? More often than not, let's say. There's definitely some things that we can do and tweak over time here, which I really, really like. But this is another great example, a beautiful example of aggressive selling at the bottom, market selling, and then just a strong absorption, okay? That's a great example here. Really, really nice to see this. Absolutely. Yeah, look at that. So this is the reason why I told you guys not to sell. Right? Not to sell here. Okay, very important. It was like very clear to me. Don't sell here. Okay. And this is what some people do. They just see it and they see a reaction. It's like, boom, sell, 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 get into the sell. And then you get squeezed out of your trade and you just waste your money for no reason, right? And this is something that I'm really trying to avoid here. So I'm also trying to sometimes help you with avoiding losses on this stream as well. Unnecessary losses, let's say, right? But yeah, good for you guys that most of you guys were realizing, I'm not going to sell here. It's very, very smart of you guys. I'm very, very happy to see that. Yeah, absolutely. But the conclusion is the move definitely happened for today here. We can see the hourly, okay? The 4 hour will close in around 36 minutes. I have my limit order set at 53 here. Right here, because this is the same exact example I just gave you guys. Literally just gave you guys on the 15-minute time frame, okay? You see this right here. We closed the candle bullish. What happened is price shoot down. It tapped into the 4501, right? 10, sorry, the 4510, and it just immediately reversed, right? But now we're getting to an overvaluation. Right now we're getting to a moment where at some point we will expect some sort of pullback, a larger pullback. And this is why I will keep this area open right now. But that 50-minute candle is the exact same thing as the 4-hour candle right here, okay? It's the same exact thing. It's just at some point we'll pull back and we'll get into these major zones in the 4-hour, and then the 4-hour structure will retest, and then we'll make the move, for example. So that is what we're trying to get into right now, and it's currently sitting at the 4453, which is right here. So if you think we cannot make any retest, well, I think we could definitely make a retest and simply continue the trend that we currently are building right now, right? I don't see anything wrong with this, where we could see something like this, right? We also have the trend that we're forming right now, and then we pull back, and that's exactly the overvaluation. We move down to an undervaluation, right? Or we move down to a neutral state where we could cool down a little bit, right? And we get into our trade, and boom, it aligns perfectly with this 4-hour retest of an area where trailers got sapped or sellers got trapped. Trailers got sapped. Sellers got trapped, right? And that's the same process as on the lower time frame. It's just all about zooming out in certain scenarios and then getting into these trades right there. So if I can spot that, I feel super comfortable with setting a limit order there, and I don't really have to overthink it at all, to be honest with you guys. I really don't. And for me, it's very clear where I could put my entry, where I could put my stop loss, and just move from there. Okay. So that is definitely something that is definitely on my list, regardless of what is currently happening in the market. And that confirmation is still there. It's still there. Okay. And the question is, will we get filled or not? Will it be the session or not? Well, I don't know. We'll see. Right? But at least I know confidently that this is a very good area of interest for me, where I will be looking for. And at least when I set it there, I'll just make sure that I'll keep it there for now. Okay. And then if something changes and I have to push price higher or whatever, or I look for a quick scalp short that makes sense, actually, which is actually around here, by the way, yeah, then I will take that, right? Then I will take that. But buying there, right, at the top here, right now, let me see here. Yeah, that also again depends, of course, on the closures. So these closures are so important. Now, on the 15-minute, I don't see many sellers here getting in anymore at the bottom, okay? So I don't see of how this could turn into strong support, let's say now. I think it starts to get more tricky. What you want to see in a healthy uptrend, guys, is you want to see a lot more selling at the bottom of each candle, okay? You want to see a lot of selling, preferably from a candlestick perspective. You want to see the candle flip bearish and close bullish. So you flip bearish, it looks like it's coming down, but in the end, the candle closes bullish. This is, right? This is for me the best example of new support within the candle structure. if it pushes down bearish and it flips and closes bullish. That has usually allowed us to show us that there is a lot more selling. These sellers were unable to push price down. We close the candle bullish, right? And we go from there. So don't just pay attention to how the candle closes, in my opinion, right? If you don't have the order flow, also simply pay attention to how the candle develops throughout that process, okay? So if you trade on the 15-minute, watch how the 15-minute candle develops. Don't look only at your levels. Don't look only at your entries. Don't look only at the closures. Also look at how the candle develops. How many times does it come up and down, right? How many times does it go from green to red before it closes green? All these things matter to understand if you're getting absorbed, if you find support in these candles, and if you look for continuation plays like these, where you look to continue with buy, that's extremely, extremely important. So if you are more of a momentum trader, and that's your specialty, then that's something I'd say that could be good advice for you to say, okay, pay attention. Now is your homework to how that candle develops, okay? I explained you the why behind it already, and the why is the exact reason here. And that is that's where support is getting created, okay? It's the difference between buyers and sellers, especially the trapped buyers or sellers. Let me know if you guys understand this here, okay? Press in a yes or a 1 or anything in that matter here. I'm just turning this slowly or steadily into an educational session right now, because I do really, really value this, and I really want you to understand this so you understand the reasoning of why I am constantly marking out these boxes on the chart and on the live stream, okay? Because there is a reason behind this. And this was a beautiful example in real time of why this is so important, okay? But I also understand that not everyone has an order flow platform. So if you don't have it, do exactly what I just said, right? Observe how these candles are closed, okay? And how not just the candles are closed, but how the candles develop throughout that whole process. All right? Thank you. All right, guys, that's very important. So let me actually take you to the week right now, okay? And see what we have been looking at the whole week. And I'm going to start at the beginning of the week. And yeah, I'm just going to be fully transparent, lead you through everything right now. What went wrong? What went right? What were the things that we were looking for? And yeah, why especially? Okay, I think this makes a lot of sense here. So this is already stream number, and I need to see it right here. It's stream number. Yeah, this is the 5th stream this week. So we have been actually trading every single week, right? So far, every single day this week, which is actually amazing. I'm very happy with this right here. Okay. Now there were some really, really nice things that I was looking for. Okay, so let's actually see how that played out here. And honestly, for me, right now this week was relatively stable, but not many amazing entries in terms of like a lot of trades. Okay, but let's go through it, and then we'll go over it here. In terms of people asking if you should sell right now, let me quickly confirm this. Honestly, I don't see a reason now. Yeah, I don't see a reason to sell yet, to be honest. Nope. No. Now, you want to see a lot of sellers coming in, okay? Number one. And you want to actually close below these sellers. We don't see any of that. There is no strong selling pressure at the moment here, except for what we saw there. But we flipped that into support, and we haven't seen any selling since. So I don't see a reason to sell here, to be honest with you. So like I said, don't try to predict the top here. I think it's very difficult to predict the top right now. This is definitely not, it doesn't seem to be the top at the moment here. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, okay, let's go through it here. Let me see what we have here. So number one, let's go actually through the week right now. There we go. So Monday, okay, we'll keep the limit orders open. It's gonna be there. I'm just gonna, there we go. I'll put it back in a second. Okay. Now on a Monday, what I realized was that we were looking at the reaction right there, okay? And that is actually a trade that played out relatively well here, okay? So I'm going to show you what I meant with this. This was a trade that we were looking for on a Monday. And this means analysis in full, right? Also the things that happened after that, right? So when I say something, I'm also going to lead you through it after. Because you can also, I can give you an analysis and it doesn't play out, right? So I want to be fully transparent around this as well here. And to show you exactly what has happened also after that. And after the stream, etc. So for example, let's go through the Monday here, okay? Monday, I said I was looking at a scenario where we had our buy limit set at the 55, if I'm correct. What's the 55? Yeah, the 53, right? That's something that I was looking for. Price getting to the 53s and then pushing out higher. Is that correct? Or did I move my stops? Let me see here. Oh, what? Sorry, guys. Why do I pick up this one? This is right now. Joking. All right, this one right here. Not the 53s here. Okay, the 4407 and the 4382.7 with my stop loss at 4335, okay? So the 4407, the 4382 with my stop loss at 4335. That was something I was looking for at the end of the New York session, pretty much. The end of the New York session, okay? So again, 443, let's make sure I say it correctly. 4407 and the 4382, okay, on a Monday. All right, so that was right here. This was the session. Okay, so 4407, right there. Right there. So we got a bit into a bit of drawdown here. 4407. That is one. Okay. And then the second entry right away was at 4382. Okay. The 4432. Right there. All right. So that means my average order was in the middle of that, right around there at 4392. Okay. 4393. Sorry. 4393. Right there. Okay. And my stop loss was at the 4412. The 4412. Right there. Okay. 4412.6 to be exact. Exactly. Okay. That is the current status right there. There we go. 4436. We can say 4436. No? 4412.6. Sorry. All right. So stop loss was 441.12, 4412, 43. Sorry. 4335.6. Yeah, I was right. I don't know why I'm so confused right now. There we go. 4412.6. There we go. All right. Okay. That was the stop. That was the entry. That was the average stop. Now, not a big trade right here. It came down eventually. We managed to take around, what, 70 or 80 points. Price eventually came down to my entry. So that was actually simply just another break-even trade. Also on a Monday here. Nothing special. But it was a pretty big move if you ask me. It was around 800 pips, 700 pips from the entry. It was initially in drawdown, but it came up around 800 pips. So I think some people reacted to this very positively. They actually took profits and they actually closed their position at a certain moment. Other people let it all run until the next day. Yeah, then it would have not been a good trade here. So it all depends on how you manage this. I personally, in these market conditions, when we look at reversals, never hold trades overnight when it comes down to reversals. Right around there. Okay? So that is something that I've been looking at on a Monday. That was a Monday here. Now let's go to a Tuesday here. And let me know if you like this overall transparency here, guys. I don't think that many streamers are doing this. And keep in mind, this is all live. This is all real time. Okay, this is not fake, some fake guru shit. This is real trading in crazy market conditions here, live on stream in front of thousands of people. Okay. This is real trading, guys. This is how it really, really works, okay? And I'm very happy to be here for that exact reason with you guys here. Now, let's go to Tuesday, okay? Right there. Now, Tuesday was very straightforward, I think. All right? Tuesday was very, very straightforward. I think Tuesday was probably the most straightforward day here, okay? Because we got into the trade at the bottom. Right there. Okay. We were looking at our analysis right here. We were anticipating the range, as always. We waited for the pullback right into the 57, the 58, right around here. Price came down. It tapped us in our position here. I think somewhere here. We were looking for an undervaluation. And guess what? We were actually undervalued against the dollar at that moment, right? And we knew every time when we were undervalued against the dollar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right? We were looking to buy. And this had to do with a lot more other layers, order flow, and all these other things. But we had a buy limit set at that level on a Tuesday, okay? Right here, because of the undervaluation, we saw the level, the point of control as well. And we got filled, I think around here. Right there we got filled here. So we created a range and we broke down, okay? So what we saw during the process was a lot of selling took place here, okay? A lot of selling took place. It was a very annoying moment because we were stuck in our trade for a long time, a little bit drawdown, but a lot of selling. And then at some point we realized, okay, this is just choppy, right? So now I saw an impulse. And the moment we saw an impulse to the upside, I said, hey, now, if buyers are not taking control now, I can put my stop loss below the lows here. Because if buyers are now not willing to break out, yeah, then I don't see any follow through and I think we're going to drop. But that was the entry with an undervaluation. And that caused us to create the bottom right here, right? And this was in a this was on a Tuesday here. So we saw the trade. We sniped pretty much the bottom, okay? And again, undervaluation. The dollar was in resistance. We saw the retest, right? The relief bounce on gold. The order flow confirmation was there. We had all the elements for our setup right there, okay? And that made sense here. So we kept up. We took some profits. And then price kept us going. It gave us another entry. And this is where things got very, very interesting here. Because after that entry that we tapped into, we had actually the 4375. That's the level that we marked out here. And I marked out that box here. You see that? I marked out that box. That's exactly what we talked about today right now that you saw in the 50-minute time frame. I've marked out that box, the 4375 here. And I said, okay, that's at least the level that we want to pay attention to, the 4375, because we might pull back into the 75 and we continue to go higher, right? So anyways, we tapped into our trade. We took our profits right there. Price kept going higher. We already were out one contract right there. We had our 75 level marked out. And then we decided to close our trade in full at the end of the stream, right around there, right? That was a beautiful trade, a large move to the upside. We sniped the bottom and we exited the top. And then we had a pullback after that. Now, after the 75, right? We talked about the 75 on a Tuesday. Look at what exactly happened after that. Because we had our range, okay, at the 75. So we saw the pullback here at 75. After we took our trade here, we closed our trade here. We had the pullback at 75. And look at that move after that. That would have been crazy, right? 2,000 pips to the upside here. 225 points here. Right at the 75, right there. Which is this box. Or it's the exact box that we just talked about right there. Okay? Which is this area right there. The point of control of that range. The 75. That was the Tuesday. So Tuesday was a really, really big day for us, guys, okay? Tuesday was a massive day for us right there. So we had the Monday. We made a little bit of profit right there. We could have made some profit here. There was an 800 pip move. This was a huge move. We had that bottom there as well. I think Tuesday was definitely our best day of the week so far. Okay, I hope that makes sense right there. Okay, now then we had a Wednesday. Okay, the Wednesday was clearly just a choppy day. Wednesday was pretty much our worst. Yeah, there was nothing happening on a Wednesday. Wednesday was completely flat. And I think Wednesday was also the day where we just said, you know, this is just typical Wednesday. This is just where you have to be very, very careful. And yeah, also here, right? We had a couple of things that we were looking for. And that was a higher time frame box, I think. I believe we marked this out. We also bounced from this here. I think it was also roughly speaking around a 300 pip move. It was a bounce here. I just need to mark it out. But then we came down, right? And we pretty much flattened out here. So Wednesday was not really the better location. And then yesterday, I had a buy limit set at 21. Okay, we can go deeper into the analysis as well. We had a buy limit set at 21. We pushed up higher, and that turned also into a break-even trade as well here, which is actually this one right here. Okay. We entered there, we closed it there because there was also no follow through. But definitely the Wednesday and the Thursday were the most, weird days. Trump was speaking. We were in a range the whole New York session, right? We didn't have any clarity around structure and anything like that here. And then we had today. And today we have seen the expansion right there also, okay? So we did end the week very, very profitable, but there were not that many real trades like we had the last week. Last week we traded almost every day on stream. This week was very, very all over the place, right? You could clearly see this. So I had to do a lot more things outside of the streams pretty much to go over this. But all the reasoning came from, like the overall reasoning came from the relief bounce, the pullback, the retest, right? And then of course the continuation higher, setting in a new trend. And then here, right here, we were kind of waiting for, you know, the smaller push towards the regional highs. We pulled back into the range here, right here. Now, this was a reason why we find that support. And of course, we kind of anticipated today more bullish structure as well. So in terms of buys, we were right. But that's the overall thought process behind it here. Now, I want to give you guys a quick of a last update, and that is the understanding of the order flow one more time. This daily candle closure will be super important, okay? Because if we close above the 70s today, I do truly believe that we will break out finally. We respect our major range of Tuesday, where we saw a lot of trapped sellers here on the daily. A lot of trapped sellers. We closed above it. We held above this. And this shows me exactly what we wanted to see here. And that is that we are holding and bouncing and respecting this area. And this means pretty much to me that we could look for the continuation towards the upside here. So I'm actually thinking about now the Monday already, and knowing that this could potentially turn into that support that we want to see for the continuation for the upside here for gold here. Okay, this is kind of what we're looking for. And on the 12 hour, it's very, very clear. Okay, because I'm talking specifically about the pullback towards this area of supply right there. Okay, which is actually this zone, which is actually the order flow, this area right there. Let me actually show you what I mean. It is actually this zone right there. This is that supply zone on the 12-hour time frame, right around there. Okay, so I believe that right now, built around the daily closure, we will see what will happen. But I've been very committed that say, okay, I'm definitely going to be committed to looking for continuation buys around the Monday if this is the closure that we're going to see. Okay, so it pretty means to me that we can actually say with confidence that we might be respecting this trend and we might be able to continue to go up towards that higher time frame supply zone, which is the 4650. Okay, the 4650. And this is why I'm saying I'm willing to wait for the pullback here. Okay, especially because we're going to close this 4-hour candle in 30 minutes on the order flow. I have my entry set now at the 53s and my stop loss at the 406. And I potentially will hold on to that trade as well here for that exact reason. All right, guys. I hope this makes sense so far. And this is what we will be doing every day on a Monday to Friday, okay? Throughout the whole week, throughout the whole month, throughout the whole quarter. I will be here for you guys from Monday to Friday, making sure that you are fully updated about what I will be looking for the right reasons. And I will be as well extremely transparent here with my personal results, as you can see here, but also the outcomes. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to go and lead you through every trading scenario and the outcomes of that at the end of the stream or at the end of the week, do a weekly summary and see exactly what has played out, what didn't play out, what were the results, etc., and how did we ended up here. I think, regardless of everything, like ending the week profitable in this market condition is for me a W. That's my personal opinion. For me, this is a big W, okay? Because I stick to my rules, I stick to my plan, I manage my risk accordingly, and I wasn't greedy, and I made sure that I find just and looked for the right setups at the right moment, and just only picked the right ones, and the right ones that I took eventually were the ones that I could take and hold on to, and the ones where I knew we are in a tricky condition, I cut off very quickly as well here. So in terms of management, I'm actually very, very proud of the current week and the results of that. And it could have been better, but it could have been much worse as well. Okay, I really believe that I could have gapped maybe a couple of scalps in between that I should have taken, for example. But this is definitely something that I'm proud of. Just that big move. And when the market conditions resume to be, relatively normal again, I think that will be an absolute game changer. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the last update I think is very important here, and that is the following. Okay, let me quickly see this 15-minute time frame here. I still don't see the sellers coming in. Okay. I still don't see the sellers really coming in here. The candle is bearish, yes, but I don't see the amount of sellers really coming in right now. Okay. I don't see the selling pressure. So be very cautious with trying to short this right now, okay? Because I don't see the sellers actually stepping in at this moment yet, all right? So I'm always saying be very careful with predicting the top here, because if this hourly candle in 10 minutes closes above the 4516, guess what's gonna happen? We might find that support here, okay? Which is already, roughly speaking, around this area right there, okay? This zone right there. If the hourly cannot close above that, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Be very cautious with this right now. It all depends on where we close. A lot can happen in 10 minutes though, by the way, right? If you flip bearish, it's a different story. If this candle closes bearish in the next 10 minutes, a completely different story on the hourly right here, okay? If this candle flips red, specifically below, by the way, the 4495, which is roughly speaking, right around there, okay? But I don't see that happening in 10 minutes unless a lot of volume comes in right now out of nowhere. But from my side, I still have set my orders at the 4453. You might think, oh, we're not going to get there this session. And you might be right. You might be right. We might not get there this session. But I just know by default, regardless if it's Monday, this is for me a very important zone. Very, very important level on the higher time frame, the 4453, and then my stop loss at the 4408, roughly speaking. Okay, 9, something like that. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you guys so much here. I hope you guys enjoyed this format so far. If you like this education, regardless, if you like this free stuff, everything that we're doing here right now, the amount of requests that I've been getting here is unbelievable. Okay. I have never seen anything like this in terms of the data behind the charts. The amount of messages I've been receiving as well have been actually through the roof, okay? Absolutely through the roof here. I got so many requests, by the way. I'm going to be very transparent about this. Around, the VIP group that I have, right? Which is closed, by the way. I don't have anything right now, which is open to the public, okay? The amount of questions that I've received about mentorship, about this and stuff, I'm like, I'm not really like interested now into hosting like big groups or doing these huge VIP groups of stuff. I'm just not a big fan of this. I just want to be here with you guys right now here, okay? I'm not here to sell any courses anymore. I've been here for a while, okay? I've been here for a while. I've been here in this business now for a while as well. I'm not interested in anything of that. The only thing that I would do, potentially, okay, the only thing that I would do, and I've been thinking about it because I've been receiving so many messages since we started this new format as well, and I truly believe that the data right now doesn't lie. The amount of views we're getting on the streams, I actually can't believe it how quickly this picked up and how well it's received. The only thing that I will do maybe in the future here, okay, and I'm trying to plan some things out. What can I potentially create or do here is maybe to host something for a maximum of 10 people. 10 people, that's it. Nothing more than 10 people, okay? I think that's the absolute limit of what I would do here. Maybe host something like that for a couple of weeks. But I will go much deeper into this where I'm still figuring out exactly how to do it, how to approach it the right way here. But no more courses from my side. No big, large group or mentorships or VIP groups or whatever. No, just a limited amount of people. Maybe there are people who are really interested in learning with me and actually are serious about growing. Something like this, okay? But this is something that will come in the future. More details are coming. For now, we're going to stick on the live streams. We're going to just keep working, which is going to happen regardless here. For the next coming months, 5 days a week, I will be here for you. You have a free book. You have everything that you need in order to get and set that foundation. And if you just follow our processes throughout the day, you show up on the live streams on time at 8 a.m. EST, I really am very, very, very confident we can do a lot of beautiful things together in the future. I truly believe this. I really do. I really do. So yeah, anyways, it's weekend. I'm going to get back to work on a Monday here. The Bali beach vibes are coming back very, very soon here. I'm going to go to an island. We're going to go with the boat to an island tomorrow. Actually, very early in the morning. And what I will do is I will enjoy it. I will have some fun. I will do my analysis one more time on the island, on my laptop. And then I will be back, hopefully nice and brown, nice and tan, on a Monday, on time. And I will be there for you guys for the weekly, so the monthly open. Right, the monthly open, if I'm correct. No, not the monthly open, sorry. The weekly open. And of course, another beautiful trading week ahead of us right here. Okay? Thank you guys so much. I'll keep you guys updated about what I'm going to do for 10 people. No exceptions, that's it. And I will give you more details about this later on. But I'll see you Monday on the streams again. Let's get back to work here. And hopefully a less choppy week than this week. Especially since the midweek. All right? Take care, guys. Thank you guys so much. And let me just turn on that favorite, that nice tune that I always was using. I love that tune here. That nice tune. Where's that nice tune? It's still my favorite tune, man. I don't know why. It keeps coming back. Just chill.
One more time, I need to.
Thank you, G's.
One more time, I need to.
If you can smash up that like button, it would be highly appreciated.
One more time, one more time, one more time, I need to. One more time, one more time.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Let's get to work and build an amazing community. Peace out. out, guys. Peace out. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday. Ciao.